Morning, everybody. Morning, and welcome once again to Perkins Online. I hope you all had every time I want to say that, I remember that there are some that had a horrible weekend. The parents of those two little boys, for example, who drowned in the Rio Cobre. That it seemed to have been a shattering experience for them. Thank God it had nothing to do with, personal viciousness on the part of killers. In the course of their death, one brother at least displayed a very noble character, in that he went in to rescue his younger brother, who had got himself into a bit of trouble. So, parents, when you feel, you have that horrible feeling, which I know you must have. I gather the father was in tears and he couldn't stay in the church. He had to keep going outside. But think about that little boy, no? And the nobility of his action that ended in his death. That must be of some comfort to you, I'm sure. The murder and mayhem continues. I gather another policeman was murdered. And part of the problem with his case is that I gather from something I heard on the radio this morning, an interview with another policeman, that he was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital. When he got there, the operating theatre was in use, and he was kept waiting for an hour and a half without attention. And I suppose that even then the operating theatre continued in use, and he was ultimately shifted to the University Hospital. And the policeman who was being interviewed seemed very upset about this, the idea that, he could have been kept waiting while the impression that one got was that what they ought to have done, policeman coming there in need of surgery, is clear out the theatre and whomever else happened to be there being operated on. No, apart from that obvious piece of nonsense, it seems to me that, to keep a man waiting for an hour and a half, who had been the victim of a shooting like that. I mean, I don't know what hope there could have been of, and the impression that one got is that he hadn't even by then seen a doctor. But the problem, Mr. Policeman, lies not in the fact that somebody else was being operated on. It lay in the fact that the facilities at the Kingston Public Hospital, the main hospital in Jamaica, public hospital, are in such appalling shape and so limited. And when you consider that the government is able, or sees itself as being able, to spend, $120 million, no. Yes, 120 million US dollars, or 100 and something. One hears various figures from 105 to 120. Every now and then the figure goes up. On World Cup cricket, while a policeman who is shot, I suppose in the way of duty, can't get attention at Kingston Public Hospital for an hour and a half after being taken there. I think this is appalling disgrace. And one gathers that part of what the World Cup money is being spent on is the provision of the boosting, building up of the hospital system, so that if anybody gets injured or ill among the visitors to the World Cup, that they'll be able to get adequate attention. So what about us niggers? Huh? We're not important too. We are not paying the taxes which are supposed to be supporting the hospital. Are we? But money can be found to fix the hospital, to fix roads, to fix whatever, when it comes to the convenience of those visiting for World Cup cricket. Well, I don't think I would find it possible to attend one of these World Cup matches. Over the weekend, there was a loads of nonsense being talked about a cartoon that was done by last May and published in the Gleaner. It may have been on coming towards the weekend. It showed disrespect for the office of Prime Minister and for the women of Jamaica. Absolute nonsense. And not just nonsense, political propaganda. I suppose that from now on, any criticism of the Prime Minister will be viewed as showing disrespect for the office and for the women of Jamaica. Now, when that reporter from the photographer from the Observer did that picture of the Prime Minister doodling in Parliament, a similar bout of nonsense enveloped us. And the press was excluded from various parts of Parliament and all this kind of rubbish. The significant thing here, if there was nothing shameful about the Prime Minister sitting in Parliament doodling, what was the problem? What was the problem? If she had nothing to be ashamed about in the fact that she was seen doodling and that the public could see a picture of her doodling in Parliament, what is the fuss about? If, on the other hand, there was something shameful in the Observer publishing on its front page a picture of the Prime Minister doodling in Parliament in the course of a debate, then it would seem to me that the source of the disgrace would have been the Prime Minister herself. It is she who was doing something which was shameful and which she would have been embarrassed in the public, in having it exposed to the public. The photographer was only there communicating to the public, holding up a mirror to the public so that the public could see what goes on when the Prime Minister is sitting in Parliament. Right? But if there was anything about it that was at all in any way shameful, it would have been the Prime Minister doing what she was doing. If he had published a photograph of the Prime Minister reading a document or in some way making notes, preparing to make a speech, there wouldn't have been fussing about that, and the press wouldn't have been banned from certain locations in Parliament. And the same thing goes for this cartoon. We take a break. We come back in a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Last May, is a cartoonist, an artist, and a newspaper person. And his job, as of all persons working in media, all journalists, is to hold up a mirror to society, to tell the people, the readers of the paper, what he sees. Like a reporter going to a scene, writing a story, enabling the persons reading that newspaper who were unable themselves to go there, what he saw there. Or even if people are aware, if people saw something, like the columnist who gives his perception of what he saw. Last May, as a cartoonist, was transforming into pictorial form something that he picked up from the Prime Minister's utterances. That is what he saw. Now, if you like, say that what he saw is different from what you saw, right? Or from what you hope would be there. But he's telling you what he sees. And in a sense, to the degree that what he sees, I mean, if the public of Jamaica reading the Gleaner and looking at last May's cartoon says to itself, now what the devil is this man doing here? This don't make sense. Well, end of the matter. Forget about last May and his cartoons. Right? But that is not the impression given by those who seem to be so upset about it. They're upset because they believe that the picture that last May presented is one that a lot of people would find sympathy with. In which event, who is it that is exhibiting disrespect for the office of Prime Minister? Would it not then have been the Prime Minister who behaved in a manner that last May and other people who agreed with his cartoon found to be un-prime ministerial, put it that way, right? Not the kind of behavior that one would expect from a Prime Minister. And if that is so, who is it that would then be showing disrespect for the Prime Minister, for the office of Prime Minister? You know, there's an issue of freedom here too. What last May sees, last May has a right to report, to present to the public. And therefore the criticism, the abounding criticism of last May and the demand for an apology by the Gleaner and all this kind of rubbish, this is an assault on the freedom of media and the freedom of people generally to express and to receive opinions, provided that those opinions, as presented, are not in violation of the law. Right? So what is all this foolishness about? There is another thing that seems to be happening. I wasn't actually listening. I sort of turned on the Breakfast Club briefly this morning and heard the discussion going on about colour and class. Mr. Siaga has been writing about colour and class. And there's been a fair amount of discussion going on, apart from that Breakfast Club thing, about colour and class. And what is this about? All of a sudden, colour and class is assuming a supreme importance. And I suppose that what we're being prepared for the argument that any criticism, any biting criticism of the Prime Minister is going to be a reflection of colour and class prejudice. Right? So you can't say that the Prime Minister is not performing as one would hope that the Prime Minister would perform. You cannot say, because if you say that, you'll be expressing class and colour prejudice. if you say that the Prime Minister seems not to be in control of the situation, not to really be in charge of the government, not to have any idea where the government should be going and what it should be doing, that is a reflection of class and colour prejudice. So, how do you escape the charge of being prejudiced racially and class-wise? Well, you have to avoid any criticism of the Prime Minister and just say how wonderfully she's doing, and you know how beautiful she looks. In fact, I mean, among her claims to her, to being outstanding, is that she is among the best dressed chickens in town. Dawn Rich had an article on her that mentioned her dress and the quality of I can't remember the details of it, but apparently she spends quite a bit, I suppose, from the credit card on on designer dresses and so on. Chanel, yes, Chanel dresses and design dresses. Yeah. And it's very, very, very funny. But I don't know. It takes more than that to make a Prime Minister, And I had a call from somebody last night who was shocked at the performance of the Prime Minister was on CVM television making a speech at that, following her presentation as the newsmaker of the year. And the person was saying that there was not a bit of sparkle in her. She was there standing up, making this, saying the words were coming out, but there was no life to it, no sparkle, and questioning the notion of the Prime Minister being charismatic. One of the things that Michael Manley would have had is that his speeches had sparkle to them, spirit, and hers does not, except when she starts talking about don't draw me tongue. That has life. But when she goes on, as she was going on last night, no sparkle. No sparkle. Anyway, next thing I'm going to be accused of class prejudice. Oh, incidentally, just at the weekend, one of the things that kept me up, first of all, I want to thank Mrs. Williams for her usual sterling performance. Happy to have had her. And among the things that I had to do was attend the funeral of Basil, whom we're going to be missing on this program quite a bit. Funeral was well attended. A lot of GLP and ex-GLP were there. Mr. Siaga, Mr. Golding, Mr. Chuck. Oh, endless numbers of them. Mr. Allen, numbers of them were there. Mr. Shaw, Miss Lightman, whole lot of them. I didn't discern a single PNP stalwart there. I don't know why. What do they have against Basil? Anyway, I suppose it might be said that Mr. Buck was at one time a member of the Jamaica Labour Party. But he's gone. I don't know. He was a very valuable contributor to this program. And I'm sure we're going to miss him. Not just me. You, the listeners, too, I'm sure. Anyway, we take a break. We come back in a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yes, I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York. I've been listening to you on the internet.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
How are things there?
Is this Mr. Perkins?
Yes. How are things with you?
I was just listening to your program where you had a comment about the police officer that was brought in to Kingston Public Hospital.
He wasn't a police officer, he was a police corporal.
Oh, was a police corporal?
Yes.
Right. And,
but nowadays in Jamaica, every policeman is an officer.
Okay. Well, I don't know it like that because I left there when I was a little child. I was born in Jamaica, and I happened to come there last summer, my family and I.
Yes.
And I was thinking about I would come back there to live when I get older, like in my 50s. So after hearing this that you said, it's really making me wonder because how could the police be like, instead of thinking about the fact that we should have more hospital operating room available to have surgery, but the way you say they're thinking is that they should like remove the person that's
he didn't say that, but the impression that I got was that was the impression that he seemed to be giving, but he didn't actually put it into words.
So it was kind of like a little bit troubling to me because I'm thinking that, well, what if, I'm there and I have like a minor car accident or something, if people are like treated better than each other based on your status in the society. I didn't know that all of this was going on because when I left I was like 12 years old and my first time back was last summer and I really liked there and I think it was such a wonderful island. But I talked to a lot of people that just recently come from Jamaica, like to live here in Brooklyn. And they're telling me that this is not a country that I want to go to because the crime is so terrible and everything. And I'm like kind of a little bit confused because what I was thinking of doing is I was thinking of coming back there to live in Mandeville or something like that and just try to enjoy the things I never had. But everybody's telling me that it's not a good place to go and everything. I don't know if you could give me a honest opinion on that. Is the public service is okay? The crime statistics and everything is really what everyone is talking against.
Sir, the crime is pretty bad, right? And there is no indication that the authorities have any control over it. Last year, the year before last, they had a pretty bad year. Or we had a pretty bad year. Somewhere in the region of 1,700 persons murdered for the year. Last year, there was about a 20% fall in the number of murders. And then this year, it started going, in January alone, we have had over 140 persons murdered. Right? And what that suggests is that, and if you go back over the years, you'll find it so, that the crime shoots up one year to a record level. The following year, it comes back down. Maybe 2 years it's down. And then another year it goes back up and so on. Right? And that it has little to do. The fall in the rate of crime seems to me to have very little to do with what the authorities say they're doing. Right?
So it's just by pure luck?
That's, or, maybe somebody decided to postpone a killing until 2 days' time. Right?
It sounds laughable because the fact that, these are all human lives, and because when I was there, I stayed in Negril, in Runaway Bay.
Yes.
And I stayed in Mandeville, and I used the map and I drove all over the place, my wife and I. And the children, we left them with an aunt in Mandeville. And actually, I never got a chance to see the real things that are going on. I was just there enjoying myself, and I really thought that everything was so good. So when I came back here, I was so bragging about the beauty and everything. But after hearing your, I happened to stumble on your station, and I got the website address, and I came to New York, and I started listening more and more. I'm getting more attached to how beautiful the island is, and I'm thinking about I would like to live there again. Then I'm starting to hear your programs more and more on the radio, how the dollar has been devalued and everything is so unstable. And then I start talking to more people. Now I'm getting more interested in knowing what's really happening, because I'm not stupid anyway to come to a situation where it's not going to be favorable for myself or my wife. And so that's why I started following up. I don't want to make a blind decision, because I'm thinking about purchasing land and stuff like that. So, it's starting to sound very discouraging to me. And I'm really wondering if there's anyone doing anything about this. For example, when I came to New York here to live, the murder rate was 2,600 a year in New York City with a population of 10 million people.
Yes.
And it has gone down by record numbers when the new mayor came in 92. And crime and I remember guns are made here in America. And
they're not made here, but they're imported in large numbers.
Right, but a lot of the guns are made here. They manufacture a lot of guns here.
Yes.
And they could cut their murder rate down to cut it by 70%.
Yes.
So now, with a population of 10 million people living in the city of New York, we have a murder rate now of only 700, which sounds like a lot, but compared to the population,
yes,
I think if we having that kind of murder in Jamaica, it's very, very excessive, because it's only 2.5 million people.
Well,
why is it that the police cannot do nothing about it? What's really going on? Is it because of corruption? Is it because they have inadequate crime-fighting measures, or what? And who can help the country? How can the country be better? Or is the mindset of the people?
Look, I think it's partly. I don't tell you that the police are adequately equipped, right? They're not. But I don't think that it is primarily a policing problem. What seems to me to be happening is that, it is more in the nature of a socioeconomic problem, right? People are deprived of opportunity. We talk about being a developing country. We are nothing of the sort, right? Maybe a third world country is a better designation, but we are not there is no economic development going on in Jamaica. And there are large numbers of people who are inadequately educated. And even those who are who have had better educational opportunities, when they graduate from university, 80% of them go abroad to find employment opportunities, right? And that reflects the state of the economy. And the government doesn't seem to be aware of that problem. They're there concerning themselves with macroeconomics, what they call macroeconomics, budget deficit and this, that and the other, and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing more money. This country owes now somewhere in the region of $1 trillion. Right? Yeah. And all the revenues that are earned by the government from taxes are inadequate to service the debt. Right?
So who's going to pay taxes if people are not being employed?
Well, there are fewer people able to pay taxes than there would have been had people been employed. And if people could see themselves as having adequate opportunity to go by legal pathways to the root of happiness, I think that there would be a hell of a lot less crime than there is in Jamaica today. But people don't have those opportunities. Right?
Okay, Mr. Perkins, I remember this is something I was wondering. For example, here in New York, and I don't want to compare to both places because one, Jamaica is a smaller island compared to the U.S., which is a first world country.
Yes.
Everybody here, almost 95% of the people have to pay some form of taxes.
Yes.
For example, I see like the man on the corner selling coconuts and stuff like that. How do he contribute to paying into the government income taxes in Jamaica? And here in America, everybody has to pay some form of taxes.
Yes.
I don't know if there's a way, if it's a tax collection issue, why Jamaica cannot get the resources it needs, or what? I mean, you were trying to explain it to me that we don't manufacture and the people who are educated has no opportunities. If we keep just discussing what the problems are, what are we going to really do to fix it? Is it a government issue? I mean, I've been listening to your program, and I'm really troubled by the fact that I love this island that I was born so much, and it's like everyone is making me feel like it's so unsafe to go to live there.
Well,
it's really troubling because we weren't born here. And that's still an island that we love.
But it is possible. There are 2.7 million people living here, right? So it is possible. It is possible to live here. But if hold on just a moment for me, please. You're listening. Okay. Thank you very much. We're back here with you, sir. Hello?
Yes. Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yes, I was saying that there are people living in Jamaica, so it is possible to live here. But you asked me a question and I'm trying to give you an honest answer, right? The people in Jamaica, the majority of people living in Jamaica have very little in the way of access to opportunity. The opportunity to live a good life, to earn themselves a good life, and to live reasonably well, right? And they turn, I mean, sometimes it's a matter even of survival, and they turn to criminal methods because the legal methods have forsaken them.
Right.
Okay?
It's just a sad thing.
It is a very sad thing.
I just wish that someone could do something to make things better and better opportunities, for everyone there.
Absolutely.
And I don't know about the political process like that. That's why I just keep listening, and reading the paper more to learn more. I used to turn my back and everything, but now I'm getting older. I'm 34 years old. I'm starting to follow up more. So I'm just learning more and more every day. So I might be calling you more often because I really want to be informed before I make decisions and doing things that might affect me badly in the long run.
One of the problems here is that government has not seen it as a significant part of its responsibility to set out to create the kind of economic environment, to lead people towards the creation of the kind of economic environment that would be attractive to investors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In fact, the government has created a situation in which it is so gluttonous for debt, for borrowing, that it has created a situation that has encouraged the owners of capital, rather than putting their money, their capital, into productive investment, to take that capital and put it into government bonds, right?
Okay.
So that the government can have money to spend on God knows what, because the hospitals are in a mess, the roads are in a mess, the schools are in a mess.
So people don't have, like, open access to proper medical care? Because I work in the hospital system here. I'm a nurse anesthetist.
Yes.
I went to be a nurse, and I became a nurse anesthetist. And I kind of understand what really the hospital system is like. So, because here, whether you have insurance or not, you have access to the same medical care like the person who has, I would say even the president. Yes, he might be treated a little bit better, however, but you have the same access that he has with the same competent care like he would have gotten.
Not true in Jamaica, sir.
It's not like that.
No. In fact, the political leadership, the parliamentarians and members of the government, the Governor General, the Prime Minister, and so on, they have access to a publicly funded insurance scheme that would make it possible for them to have, if they have a medical condition problem, then they can get on a plane and go abroad to Miami or New York and have that problem dealt with, covered by insurance funds, funded by public taxes.
From the people of Jamaica?
Yes, sir.
And so the facilities that we have in Jamaica are not capable enough to treat our government official, the government official there?
No, they're in pretty bad shape. If you insofar as the public facilities are concerned, there was a case recently last year, much discussion about the state of the operating theatre at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston, where there were cockroaches crawling all over the place and flies.
Cockroaches in the hospital?
In the hospital, not just in the hospital, in the operating theatre.
Oh my God!
Right?
Is this real?
It is real, yes. And we've been hearing about
it sounds very laughable to me. Why?
Well,
because
it's not laughable for the people who have to
how
endure
people go about being clean here to cut down on the rate of infection. This is why, for me, it sounds very unusual.
Yes.
Because not even people want cockroaches in their house here.
Quite.
And no one does nothing about that?
Well, they claim that something has been done about it. How long that will remain is another matter. But the conditions here are quite unpromising. Although they tell us every now and then they come out with some statistics that are supposed to show that things are promising, and I gather the Prime Minister has been saying something of the sort. But government seems to have a technique here, you see. Their mantra is, if you can't make it, fake it.
There's certain little subtle things that I remember when I was living in Jamaica. I remember in the 1980s, because I came up here, it was like about 84, and I remember when we had the elections that people used to be killing each other.
Yeah.
Are they still doing that?
Used to be what? Killing each other?
Yeah, for the political parties.
Well, we haven't had too much. That hasn't caught too much in the way of public attention recently. Although I have no reason for thinking that it has been wiped out. Except, the fact of the matter is that some of the gangs have been, well, all of them, I suppose, have been finding other ways of occupying their time. I suppose when the election comes around, there's been talk of a bloody election. I don't know how true that is.
I guess I'll be listening to your program more often, and I try to listen at work every time I get a break. But I'm off today. That's why I could stay home and call you today. I always wanted to talk to you to actually hear from you. Because, like a friend of mine he graduated from the University of West Indies, he's living here now. And I met him here. He's an older person. And he's the one that told me that, listen to your program and I'll really hear how the callers are calling in. And then maybe I want to change my mind and not go there to live. Because I keep talking to him that, this is something I want to do. Mm-hmm. And he's saying that if things are not going to get better, you should, first of all, you should try to listen to his program. You hear the real Jamaicans calling in.
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing. So, Mr. Perkins, we're next talking to you, and I'm going to continue to listen to your program, and I try to tell other Jamaicans that are here to sign on online and listen, because a lot of people didn't know that we could hear the radio station live. I even hear the news at nighttime and everything.
All right. Nice hearing from you.
Okay. It was nice talking to you, and you'll hear from me again. The more facts I get, so I could ask you more questions.
Okay. All the best to you. Okay. Hello? Hello? What's happening? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
How are you doing, Mr. Perkins?
Not too bad. How are you?
Mr. Perkins, I don't know if you recognize this voice from the U.S.
Yes, man.
Sir, I came home.
You came home?
Yes, and you know what? I came home and I about to run away and go back.
You're about to run away and go back?
Yes, you know why, sir? I packed 2 barrels with foodstuff to serve me. I was not told when I came to the airport that orange paper would not allow me to clear my barrels with a discount because I no longer have a Jamaican passport.
Uh-huh.
So now, what I pack and put in the barrels, I'm going to pay in triple for it. So I might have to just leave the barrels on the wharf so the government can take the stuff. Now, Mr. Perkins, is this government for real and their standard they set at? Because I a Jamaican, I don't have a Jamaican passport, you're penalizing me? You're penalizing me because I don't own a Jamaican passport, Mr. Perkins?
Eh?
Sir?
What are they telling you? That you can't?
On the paper it says NA, meaning I'm not applicable to use that paper and get the discount. So now when I go to the wharf, I was told I'm looking for $7,000 to $8,000 to clear a barrel with foodstuff. Is this the way to treat me returning to my country?
Oh boy.
This is bad. I come down here to chill out and hang out and enjoy my country. And because I no longer have a Jamaican passport, which I'm proud of my U.S. passport. I love it. But the fact remains, sir, why am I being penalized to use a Jamaican passport to get a discount to clear my barrels? Is that... what's that, sir?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't aware that they... Well, I wish
the guy at the airport, I guess I was a dummy. I don't know if I'm the dummy or I'm a retard, that he didn't tell me that you have an American passport. This form not helping you, I'm going to give you. Why give it to me? You know,
well, I suppose that they would say, you see, that certain concessions are given to Jamaicans, and they need evidence that you are Jamaican.
But I have a Jamaican age paper. They could ask for documents. But I would produce it to them. But saying that because I have a U.S. passport, I cannot get the discount? That is stupid, sir.
Well, I don't know.
That is really bad. That's
anyway,
no way
you're in Jamaica now?
Yes, sir.
Well,
I'm enjoying my country, but right now
hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, so how long are you going to be here?
I'll be here for a month.
For a month?
Yes.
Good.
So I bring down my foodstuffs to serve me. Because I don't eat Burger King. I'm not a Burger King guy.
You're not a Burger King guy?
So I bring the stuff I need, and I thinking that I wouldn't have to go spend another fortune to eat healthy. And now I was told that piece of paper, that orange paper that I got at the customs saying NA, mean I'm not eligible.
Well, I tell you something, you know.
Yes, sir.
If you had your Jamaican passport with you, you could have presented it, and that would have made the difference.
Yes, but Mr. Perkins, the U.S. authority took my passport.
They took your Jamaican passport?
Yes. And I cannot apply for a Jamaican passport. I would be lying to the authorities.
I don't think that is so. Because my understanding is that, well, I don't know. I gather that there are persons who have both American and Jamaican passports.
I didn't know that was possible.
Check that one out.
Well, I'll check it out, but I really hope that they will change things like this, because I mean, if I have a Jamaican American passport, that shouldn't penalize me. If I choose to live in another country.
No. It isn't that you're having an American passport. It attracts a penalty. What is happening is that they are giving concessions to Jamaicans.
Yes.
Right? What they need in order to give you a concession is evidence that you are a Jamaican.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, if you have a Jamaican passport, you present that and you have no problem.
But now, even if I were to get a Jamaican passport, they're saying that they won't accept it.
Who is saying that?
That's what the lady at the wharf that I shipped the barrel to.
No, I don't know what she's talking about. Because my understanding is that we do allow dual citizenship in this country. Right?
Well, I guess I have to look into that more.
Yes.
But it's really good to be here otherwise.
Okay. And you're having a good time?
I am having a good time. I was listening to the Commissioner of Police talking the other day about cutting down on crime.
Yes.
And he made one topic that sounded very interesting, like when they have a roadblock, other motorists should not blink their headlight and notify the incoming one to interrupt their duty and their work. And that's really true what he's saying, because, you know, if you're going to decide that you're going to cut back on crime, it's the thing that everybody has to work on. So I wish him all the best, and I hope he does change, because I have $1 million US I want to invest in my country.
Yes.
And I'm waiting for the day to come.
I see.
So thank you very much for your time.
All right, sir. All the best to you.
All right, bye.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning
Perkins.
to you, sir.
I have come to the conclusion that Jamaica is a hopeless case.
I beg your pardon?
I have come to a conclusion that Jamaica is an hopeless case. It's a hopeless case.
Why do you say that?
And like I said before, it is the epitome of growing failure. Now, people want national growth and development without the appropriate education and technical investments that would make it possible for viable and sustainable development. You know, development is really a state of mind, you know, rather than a social or economic condition. And the economy does not make people. People make the economy.
True.
And on the other hand, the education make people. So if we have an ignorant and illiterate, unskilled, untrained people, it is because we are a product of the very education system itself. And what we need is radical changes in this whole perception of what education is about, you know. Because education is more than about making money.
You know what the problem is? It's substantially the problem in Jamaica.
Yes.
This country is governed by visionless people.
Oh, true.
right? People who have no sense of where Jamaica should be going. We're just sort of rambling along.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Just,
and we have been doing that since independence, you know. We have been doing that since independence.
Well, I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't say since independence,
yes.
Because in the early years of independence, we were doing reasonably well.
Well, to a certain extent, you know, in the sense that
well,
the United States economy was willing to invest in Jamaica.
It's not that just that the people from all over the world,
yes,
and Jamaicans who had owned capital,
yes,
who were willing to invest in productive businesses. But since the 1970s,
yes,
that was turned around, right? And a lot of investment left Jamaica. It wasn't some rebuilding was done in the 1980s, but you know, before there was time to sort of really change things in any radical way.
Yes.
The process of tearing down started all over again.
And
right?
Right back to that education factor.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we have a well-trained, educated people, I'm almost certain that the whims of ideology and the whims of other social factors would not just driven us here and there.
Yes.
You know, we would have an idea of exactly what is it we're trying to accomplish.
Yes, but what is the purpose of government? Is it the purpose of government to create an educated electorate?
It is not in the interest
which then are going to give them difficulty about holding power.
It is not in the interest of this present form of government. In fact, it is not in the interest of those who seek to divide and control us.
Yeah.
And what we need to do is to reprioritize the education system along some sort of national agenda, keeping in mind some kind of realistic vision of what is
but we also need, sir.
Yes, sir.
We also need to create an environment attractive to investment. Yes. And we're not talking here merely about buying government paper. That's not what we need. Buying government paper has been part of the problem.
Yes, true.
People can make more money buying government paper than they could make in the present circumstances building a factory.
True.
Right?
But again, you can build a factory and equip it with the best kind of machinery, you know. And if you don't have the kind of labor force
that is
capable of using and utilizing these machinery and facilities,
and that
it'll amount to nothing.
That includes discipline.
Yes.
And a better understanding of what the relationship is between employer and employer.
Yeah. And again, we are having a problem with that, you know, because it seems to be, even though we have a motto which is trying desperately to make us into one. But Jamaica is hopelessly divided among itself, you know.
Yes.
In every area of life, religious, political, social, and even the education-wise. But we need to sort of get a new vision of who we really are, and if we're really trying to make a nation out of ourselves.
Yes.
We have to tear down a lot of these unnecessary social and education and economic barriers, you know.
Yes.
And we have to focus and...
Look here, Jamaica, let me tell you something. We need some radical transformations in this country.
True.
Right? And not least among them, we need to understand what it is that pays the laborer his wage.
Yes.
Right? Is the employer to take some money out of his pocket as an act of generosity and pass it on to this man?
Yes.
Or is that man to work and produce the means of paying himself the wages that he contracted to be paid?
But, you know, we have relegated labor, you know, Mr. Perkins, to a thing where the man with the machete is more desirable.
Right.
And I think we need to sort of refocus on what is it that we are really trying to getting our people to do. We can't just be for just social services or economic services.
Yes.
You know, we need to start focus on making something good of these people. And we can do it with education. We can make something good of the Jamaican people.
Yes, we need to create, in a word, what we need to create opportunity for our people.
Yes.
Opportunity in the sphere of education.
Yes.
Opportunity in the sphere of employment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so on.
But educated people again, and a technically trained and competent person will provide means of labor, and at the same time productive labor. Because a head educated man.
Well, for that educated man, sir.
Yes.
Unless he happens to have some capital.
Yes.
He's going to need somebody with capital to provide him with the opportunity to work and to earn.
And I tell you what, a good idea is even more better than financial capital. Eventually, it will bring its own capital. Anyway, Mr. Perkins, there is much about global warming these days. Now, what say you regarding this matter?
Well, it is a serious problem.
Okay. So you don't think it's one of those global hysteria similar to the coming of the new millennium?
The new millennium?
Yeah, I mean, it is not some kind of hysteria on the same...
no, I think that there is scientific evidence.
Yes.
Or that's my understanding.
Personally, though,
Hold on a moment for me. Arch, we're back here.
Mr. Perkins. Now, as I was saying, Personally, I do not believe that this worldwide concern related to the continuing rise in atmospheric temperature is a typical outbreak of wild, uncontrollable anxiety or fear. In fact...
Do you have any evidence of that?
In fact, no, I'm saying that it is not. Now, in fact...
No.
It is
You're saying that what is not?
Pardon me?
You're saying that what is not?
Well... This whole concern about...
is invalid.
To me, it has...
No, I'm asking you whether you have evidence of that, or whether that is something that you've just conjured up in your mind.
Well,
are you aware of the evidence on which these people are saying that problem exists? Have you looked at that evidence?
Yes.
And found it flawed?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Oh, is that so?
In fact, it is my firm belief that there...
No, we're not talking here.
Yeah.
We're talking here in the realm of science.
Yeah, but I'm saying that there's more than scientific reason, I'm saying that there's more than scientific reason to be concerned about global warming.
Hold on a moment.
Yes.
In the realm of science, people don't talk in terms of belief. You can believe anything you want.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In the realm of science, people talk about evidence. What is the evidence, and what is the conclusion to which it leads?
Well, like I said, I'm in no dispute with the scientists and their findings.
Oh, well, if you're in no dispute with the scientists, then I don't really understand what you're talking about.
Okay. What do you think is causing this continuing elevation in the Earth's temperature?
Look, sir, I am not a scientist.
Yes. Man and his scientific and industrial way of life might very well be responsible for this alarming situation.
The industrial way of life. Well, the consumption of certain kinds of, the burning of certain kinds of fuels, yes. Right? This is what they say, isn't it? This is what the scientists are saying.
Yes.
Well.
I'm just saying, that this idea of chopping down trees, polluting air, water, and land, by way of advancing science and the industrial way of life, is very much working against the whole natural order of the climate itself,
Well, I don't know that the advancement of industry per se. I mean, the use of certain fuels and and so on. But it may be that can be corrected, and there are other ways of going about it. I don't know.
Anyway, what is really happening to the herd presently is beyond the doings of men.
Beyond what?
It is beyond the doings of men.
Beyond the doings of men?
Yes.
I see.
Anything
so?
With the, anything.
So who is it that has done it then? God?
Pardon me?
Who is it that has done it?
Yes. Well, do you remember once I mentioned to you about this diminishing momentum of the Big Bang?
Yes, sir.
Now, what the Earth is presently experiencing in regard to the change of climate is a direct result of what is happening to the sun and the rest of the solar body.
What evidence do you have of that?
Now, Mr. Perkins, if you throw something at a particular height or at a particular distance, the initial throwing of it, go at a faster speed than when it is getting ready to fall.
Yes.
Now, I'm saying that this Big Bang theory, which most scientists somehow can understand and gravitate around, this Big Bang, what it did was to set the entire universe, this global system we call it, into motion. The force and the gravity of this whole explosion. And this explosion was just the coming of our present sun to this galaxy. It was the explosion that not only brought movement to these bodies, but at the same time it brought light. And, you have to understand that this explosion will eventually peter out.
Look, sir, I tell you something. If you have the imagination, you can conjure up any picture that you will, right? But that isn't how science proceeds.
Well, I would like to call on any scientist who would like to dispute.
Science proceeds on the basis of evidence, right? And if you have evidence that what the scientists say is nonsense, then we listen to you. If not, if you're just sort of, this is how you would like to think that it goes, well, fine.
Another thing, Mr. Perkins, one last thing.
What is that?
Do you think time can be measured?
Time?
Yes.
Can be measured?
Yes.
Yes, I think it can be measured.
Okay. Because the time that we existed now, began...
But time is being measured.
So the time that we exist in now began with the Big Bang. And it is easy to see that the end is inevitable. Because this Big Bang movement or momentum of things will eventually die out.
What you do, sir, write a book. And maybe some people will buy some copies to read it. All right, thank you very much. All the best to you. Okay, hello? Hello?
Pull and push.
Huh?
Pull and push, yeah.
Pull and push?
Good morning.
You're talking about something else.
I saw him, yeah man, I gave him a measurement before.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Morning to you.
One of the, back on Earth, gentleman was in space.
Yes.
Now, a pleasant morning to you. And
pleasant morning to you too.
I was listening to you this morning when you spoke about the young man that passed away when his brothers tried to save him. And I was in a similar situation as a child. We were not supposed to be where we were. And I went into the water. And my older brother, knowing the punishment that he would face, being that he was there and he was the older one, came in after me, but he was at least successful.
He was what?
He was successful. He got me back on shore because I didn't understand the depth of the water and I wasn't a good swimmer at the time. So I can understand. I relate this story to many people, and I think it applies to the kids because we were adventurous even then. We live in a cane field area that had these water holes that we could swim in, and they were dangerous. And condolence go to the family and their loss.
Yes, well, youngsters will always be adventurous, won't they?
Well, Sir Perkins, I also heard when you mentioned about Mr. Basil Buck. And I can tell you that I never really met the man. I used to watch his piece on the television, and I used to hear him on the radio.
Yes.
And I know him to be a man that wasn't self-serving.
That was not self-serving.
No, I didn't seem to be that kind of a person. And one of the things that he did, he never just spoke of whether or not you acknowledge a problem, but what you do to correct the problem. And he used to say that knowing that we're going in the wrong direction isn't enough. It's how quick you can turn around.
Yes.
And get the thing going in the right direction. So where it applies, it really got me clear to understand where the economics of our country was going, and people like he didn't see a lot of positive things happening, and he didn't see any change taking place to correct these problems.
Yes.
And I still think we're still moving in that general direction. His comments will be missed, because he at least was one person who I knew to tell it as it is, in a time when a lot of other people seem to either shut up or look the other way. I don't know.
Yes, quite true.
Now, Sir Perkins, I know that we're on the eve of our big event in the island, and people are making a real effort to try and make this World Cup thing come off, without a snag. What do you think about the World Cup, sir?
In what way? Hold on just a moment. Hold on a moment. Okay, thank you very much. Back here. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins. One of the reasons I was asking that question, I heard you made a statement in the form of when you said that if you invited someone to your home and you had a loose floorboard there, that it...
Hello? No, we lost him. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try again. Hello? Yes, good
Mr.
morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, sir. I'm speaking for the poor. I love the poor. Hello?
You love the what?
Love the poor.
You love the poor?
And I'm one of them.
And you're one of the poor?
Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of them. I also love the rich.
You love the rich?
As well.
I see.
Some of my best friends are rich. Here's the rich. I have two little matters I want to bring up.
You love Sister P too, I take it?
Well, in whatever category she falls, rich or poor. Yes, I love her.
Well, I don't think that with a credit card like that she could be numbered among the poor.
Well, I love you too. I don't know what the size of your credit card.
I beg your pardon?
I also love you.
You love me?
Yes, sir. And I don't know what size credit card you have.
Well, I don't think I'm in that category at all.
The credit card category. Well, maybe you're on the other side with me. I wanted the global warming issue, sir. The global warming issue.
Yes.
Is a real one.
It is a real issue.
I don't want to go into the astronomy and the meteorology of it. But I would like to tell Jamaicans that they should look out for changes in weather and in the configuration of the country.
Yes.
I would tell the poor, to my compatriots, to hold on to their hillside properties and don't just give them away like that, because they are going to be important in alternate tourism. I'd also like to tell the powers that be that we should be setting up museums. We have resources for so many museums. Geology museum, with seismic centers. We can set up citrus, ackee, bandana museums, and these don't have to be set on the sands of the country. limestone parks up in the cockpit country and other places, reggae sites, and mini-met stations at high schools and universities.
Uh-huh.
So we should be planning and developing our little island to meet any eventuality.
Yes, it's one of the interesting things that so much of our tourism.
Hello?
I say so much of our tourism.
Yes.
Depends upon entirely natural resources. I mean, when I say that, we put up the hotels and all that. But what we're asking people to come here to do is to go down to the beach and have a swim.
That's right.
We are not much, or as much as we could be, into the business of creating other attractions.
Yes.
Fine, yes, we have some music thing, if music is what you call it. But not all that much of it, you know.
No, we need cultural and intellectual.
We could have a lot of that,
intellectual.
Yes.
You know, you go into a geology museum, you see bauxite, and you see the whole process of converting it from bauxite to aluminium.
Well, I'm not sure how many people would be all that interested in that, but whatever.
Oh, yes, students from abroad would flock in droves, you know, and have these things, mini-met stations where the children in school could be taking daily records of the weather.
Yes.
And really monitoring what is happening. When a high pressure is announced, the children should be able to say, oh, fair weather, high clouds, no rain. You know, it should be familiar with them. I mean, they should be familiar with weather phenomena. And then the next thing, sir, is...
But our problem is at the moment is that we have so many children coming out of school unable to read.
Exactly.
Much less to be doing things like that.
No, but the Met station at the college or high school would help them to read and to meticulously take information.
Yes.
And respect research.
And not only that, you know, you talk about reading.
Yes.
The purpose of learning to read is to be able to read, and in fact to read.
That's right.
We're not encouraging our young people in that direction.
Not
Once
at all.
upon a time, many years ago.
Just putting them before a computer and hoping that they will.
Well, I don't know. That is the enthusiasm of the moment.
Learning.
But years ago, it looked as if we were going in the direction of public libraries and the encouragement of people to use those libraries.
That's right.
And to inform them and further educate themselves.
Yes.
By that process. But we have given up on that, it seems. I don't know.
Well, because we are getting putting blinkers on and thinking that all that will profit us is getting behind some machine and working it.
Yes.
And of course the children and people who with low intellect love the matter of manipulating a machine only. And just thirdly, if I have a little time, it's the World Cricket tournament. And here again, speaking for the poor, I would advise and love if the hardware stores would, you know, have some sales on paints and white lime and cutlasses.
Yes.
Not the cars and machetes. And, you know, so that people at the lowest levels could get jobs. And that the place could look beautiful without a lot of expense.
Yes, indeed.
You know, and then the cost of food items. I would invite, here we'll have a massive transfer of food from the poor to the rich. Or poor to the leisured. Because things are going to disappear, like lettuce, patties, carrots, these things, green peppers, eggs. The prices will go up and they will disappear from, rural markets. So, I don't know, that needs to be controlled. Maybe we have to shop up like when a hurricane is coming.
Yes.
Because these food items, there's going to be inflation, and it's going to be centered around food.
I see.
As well as other things.
All right, Mom.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Perkins.
Speak up a bit for me.
Morning. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm asking, how are you this morning, sir?
Not too bad, thank you.
All right.
How are you?
Good to hear. Just following up on the point about economic development. It's a worthwhile point. I think we Jamaicans need to move away from just buying and selling our government paper. There's a lot of areas that we can explore and exploit it economically. For example, in the area of pharmaceuticals, I'm sure there are a lot of plants and herbs in Jamaica. Even for example in the cockpit country there, that if we could reproduce it and mass produce it, we could really set about economically changing Jamaica. I mean, it could mean
that's one opportunity, but I'm sure that there are others.
Of course, a lot of others. I was just throwing an example out there. And another thing, a lot of Jamaicans don't understand that one of the characteristics of good governance is consistency. You can't say one thing and then when you do something it sends another signal. A lot of times when you hear that there's a crisis in the health service, in the educational service health sector, you name it, the first response is we don't have the money. Yet still, we seem to find money to do other things.
Yes.
That are less, that in my opinion have less priority. In other words, we're ignoring the real urgent stuff. And
which is the more urgent problem, sir? Depends upon perspective.
Yes, that is true.
If I'm looking from the perspective of my interest, then I might see A as the most important and urgent of the problems.
True.
If I'm looking from the perspective of the community, then it might be something else that is the more important. You follow what I mean?
Yeah, man, that is true.
The more important and the more urgent.
That is true.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. Back here.
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Perkins. You're talking about perspective.
Yes.
Right. No, I agree with
one of the problems of Jamaica, sir, is that very often it seems that government is not concerned. Is concerned less with the interests of the people than with other things. For example, this business of spending 120 or whatever it is million US dollars on World Cup cricket.
Ridiculous.
And all of a sudden recognizing a need to do something about roads and hospitals and so on. When it was just you and me, you and I, right? And all them people down at down on the what they call the ghetto areas. It didn't matter.
No.
Right? now that you're hoping that these guests will be coming here to World Cup, and you want them to be able to get from Montego Bay or wherever to Sabina Park, right? You're taking all kind of radical decisions about the Mount Diablo.
We Jamaicans we say take shame out of their eye.
What?
Them trying to take shame out of them eye.
Yes, well, I tell you something. I heard over the weekend some story about traffic being held up on Mount Diablo for 9 hours or something like that. Some hell of a long time. Right? And over all these years this has been going on. Nothing done about it. But now you're getting guests coming to watch cricket. And there's a lot of excitement about it. Right? And roads that lead to the cricket ground, those have to be fixed, and so that the people, when they're driving over them, don't fall into potholes. Right? But Jamaicans are not important. In Jamaica, Jamaicans are not important.
No, we come in last in terms of concern. We are last on the list.
Yes.
You know.
We don't matter.
No, we don't matter. and that's a shame, because your human asset, well, your human resource is your greatest asset.
Well, my impression is, sir, that we as Jamaicans have as much right and in this country as any other Jamaican, including the lady with the credit card, right?
True.
The best dressed chicken in town. So Jamaica should be done, should be prepared, should be, beautified and provided with facilities and so on for us, not for people who are coming here for 2 months. Am I right?
True.
And if it's done well enough for us, then when they come, they should be able to enjoy it too.
Whatever is good for us at home should be good. Whatever is good enough for us at home should be good enough for our guests.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame that we feel that we have to do that. What them doing is taking shame out of them eye. Because they should be ashamed of them.
But some of us say we love the poor,
You see, make to say anything,
Yes,
and
yes.
The best way if you really love the poor, it's not about giving them a fish for today, but it's teaching them how to fish. So you're giving them a life skill there.
Yes.
And until we in Jamaica understand that governance was never about handout, right?
Yes,
but it's
indeed.
about organizing the affairs in the country
Absolutely.
so that you get the best and you maximize the benefits from the limited resources that you have.
are absolutely right, sir.
And that's what governance is about. And that is why, I tell people, if we don't maximize the use of the limited resources, then we can't address things like the educational system, the health sector, right? You name it, the public sector problems we have, we can't address any of them without the money.
That is quite true.
So we need to have first of all, get our priorities straight.
But the problem about the money, sir, is that it is being used for other purposes,
That is true. That's a shame.
That those who have control of it think are more important than putting up decent hospitals and so on.
Yeah. It's just like Caesar would give the Romans games to distract them from all the problems in the city.
I beg your pardon?
I say it's just like Caesar would give the people them games.
Green.
Games.
Games.
Gladiatorial games.
Oh, that one, yes.
Yeah, he would give them games to distract them from the problems in the city.
Well, I'm not quite sure that was how it went. I think they provided the games, yes.
Right.
But I don't think it had to do anything to do with the condition of the city.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Romans were more important in Rome than Jamaicans are in Jamaica. You know?
Boy, it's a pity and a shame. It's a pity and a shame that saying that you're Jamaican. I mean, a lot of people don't know what that means when they say that I'm a Jamaican, what it stands for.
Yes.
You know, at least when people say they are British or they are American citizens, they know the benefits that go.
American citizens have rights in America.
Rights and benefits that go with
right?
it, yes.
The American government exists to protect the rights of the American people. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The Jamaican government doesn't exist for that purpose.
True. Listen, no system of
does not
government
see itself as existing for that purpose.
True. Right? And I was saying, Mr. Perkins, that I don't want our listeners to believe that we're saying that any system of governance is perfect and without its flaw. But if they were to look at the midterm elections just concluded in America, they would say that George Bush was sent a clear message from the electorate, you know, and his hands have been basically tied.
Yes.
You know, and that's the beauty of the American system is that, listen, you know, the electorate have made a mistake with George Bush, right? Fine. But, you know, what has happened in Iraq has happened. It has passed. Now, everybody look into the future.
Yes.
So, that's the beauty of the American system. And I think we need something like that. We need separation of powers. And it's not an easy thing for us to achieve out here.
We also need an electorate that behaves intelligently, sir.
Yeah, that is true.
Right?
That is true.
And that isn't going to vote for somebody because him talk nice or because she's a woman or something like that, you know.
And
your electorate should be voting
on issues
in the interests of Jamaica, sir.
True.
Right?
Jamaica
somebody who is going to do the best for Jamaica.
True.
Right?
True.
Because if the best, Jamaica's best is yours and mine. Right?
True.
We are going to be better off if Jamaica is better off. Okay? And I mean it is no use our making $1 million if the $1 million is sliding in value.
Yeah, that is true.
Every 5 minutes.
That's true.
Every time the clock ticks.
Before I go to Mr. Perkins, I just want to say one quick point. That the tourism product we have in Jamaica, it doesn't really benefit the wider populace. This all-inclusive thing benefits mainly the stakeholders who own hotels and so on. Yes,
sir, but I tell you something. First of all, I'm not sure that is necessarily so. But you have to remember, you see, I earn a living, right?
Yes.
You might say that my living doesn't benefit you. But if I spend some of my living at a shop, right? I must buy food and whatever. And some of that food that I buy is bought by that shop from or supermarket from a man somewhere in St. Mary or St. Elizabeth who is growing corn or beef or whatever, right? Then that man is benefiting from my income.
Well, that is true.
Because if I didn't have the income, I wouldn't be able to buy his product, right? And the more people who have more incomes that they can spend buying the stuff that he produces, the more is going to be the demand for his product, and the better off he's going to be.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
So that's how an economy works.
Well, put it this way, Mr. Perkins. When I say that the people who own the all-inclusive, they benefit mainly. What I mean is that yes, that's true. The suppliers make money. You know, probably the people who carry the people in the hotels make money.
And not just the suppliers. The people who are going to, the people who work in those hotels are earning money in those hotels.
That they spend outside.
And they're coming outside to spend it.
Right. I agree. But I'm saying though, it could, if Jamaica was a different place, it could be wider.
Yes.
We could have tourists.
But that is quite true.
Going into the urban areas.
Yes.
I mean, when you go to London, and you want to have a good evening, you can go and take in a soccer match. Go and, go to a fine restaurant.
Look here, you can walk all about the place. Take the tube and the bus and the whatever.
That is the real tourism, Mr. Perkins, I'm talking about. That's the essence of what tourism is about. Let the people them see all aspects, not only we're rural areas, but we're urban areas.
Yes. All right. I'm afraid I have to leave you now.
Okay, Mr. Perkins.
It's time for the news, eh? All the best to you. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Let's go directly to our phones now. Hello?
Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
I haven't heard you spoke for a while about that article in the paper that you are so repetitious about this particular line. Something happening simultaneously and one thing causing the other.
What is this you're talking about? I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
There was an article in the paper maybe a few months ago. Something to the effect of something happening simultaneously, and one thing happens to be the cause of the other.
Yes, I remember it. What else you want me to say about it?
Well, I really didn't read the article myself, and but I heard you you speak so much of that particular line that it at first I chuckled at it dismissively.
Yes.
But then, because you are so repetitious of it.
I was repetitious on it.
Very, very repetitious.
Oh. How many times did I speak about it?
Oh, quite a lot.
Oh. I didn't realize that.
So it kind of got me thinking.
And having thought, what conclusion have you arrived at?
Well, I wonder though if you found it nonsensical in the context that it was used, or that you thought it was ridiculous in a general way.
In a general way, it is ridiculous, sir.
Okay, because purely from a novice's point of view, I was thinking that it might be possible.
Oh? Explain that.
And my thought process comes from, if you were to, say, look at a motor vehicle, specifically, say, a front-wheel drive vehicle, and if that car was set in motion, the front wheel, well, if the car was put in drive, for argument's sake, a number of things would have happened to set the car in motion.
Yes.
But being a front-wheel drive vehicle, the vehicle would start off, firstly, well, all wheels on the vehicle would move simultaneously, I would say. But the front wheels would actually be the one that caused the simultaneous movement of all the wheels. Because the driving force was acting upon the front wheel.
Yes. Well, it wouldn't be the front wheel that would be causing the others to move. It would be the driving force.
Right.
That is impelling both the front wheel and the ones behind.
Okay.
Right? But the point that I was making, and it is very important, sir, that we understand language, because if you don't understand the language, you can't think properly.
Yep.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. if
you were saying
if two things happen simultaneously.
My understanding of that is that they are happening together, both at the same time.
At the same time. Right. One of those things could not have caused the other. They could both have been caused by some other driving force. Right? But for something to cause something else, the something would have had to have happened before the something else.
Well,
right?
I hear you on that, sir.
When you say that something caused something else, right? What you mean is that the something had an effect, which is the something else.
Yeah, but
am I right? No, for something. Hold on. For something to have had an effect, it must have happened before the effect.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
Well, that's it.
But the driving force, though, could well be happening, and it still doesn't set the car in motion. Can you agree with that? That there might be driving force.
Look here, there might be flaws in the mechanism of the car which prevent that driving force from having the effect that it should.
Exactly.
But that's a different argument entirely.
All right, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one. Then.
Well, disagree if you like, but you know,
I can agree to an extent with you that some things being happening simultaneously.
I don't care whether you agree or not. I know that I'm right. Right?
Some things happening simultaneously.
Two things happening simultaneously. That is to say, at the same time.
Right.
One cannot have been the cause of the other.
It is impossible for one to cause the other.
Yes, one cannot have been the cause of the other. Right?
You know, I think if we were to really apply some science to this, for which I am not qualified right now, I'm purely speaking from a novice's point of view, but I think that if we should go to the extent of applying or getting, you know, an opinion from somebody who is probably, you know, more qualified in the realms of science or so, that they might refute your argument about it.
Well, you find such a person, sir, and I'd be fascinated to hear them.
Okay. Right? In the meantime,
and let me point out to you something else. The example that you gave, right, of the car is flawed. Because the car is so structured, sir, that when the car is stationary there on the road, right, or on the pavement, whatever, right? Yes. If you get somebody to push the car, right, the front wheels will move,
right,
but the back wheels will at the same time be moving, right? Because one set cannot move.
I agree. And
without the other set moving.
It would be the push that actually caused them to move. And they would be moving simultaneously.
So you could push it from behind.
Yes.
And both sets of wheels would move.
Right.
At the same, and to the same degree.
Yes.
And you could push it from the front backwards and both wheels would move.
I agree.
And to the same degree.
I agree with that argument.
Okay.
And that was why I specifically...
So it isn't the front wheels that are causing the back wheels to move, nor the back wheels that are causing the front wheels to move.
And that is why I said that it can be said that in some instances, in some cases, it is fallacious. But it's not totally and generally.
Well, you tell me of a case in which two things happen simultaneously and one is the cause of the other. You tell me of such a case.
I I will get back to you on that one.
Okay, sir.
But anyway, sir, one last point. Some time ago, somebody had called you from the Trelawney area pertaining to the World Cup cricket situation there.
Yes.
And they were saying that they weren't involved in the whole process in terms of being able to benefit from it as a small man. And one of the suggestions that they had put forward was that they were to be made able to sell their products from yams at the venue and so on and so on. And a point that you made was that, you know, the main event would not be staged at that venue in any case for them to be exposed to the real market that they would have liked to target. But what I am thinking is that rather than trying to peddle their wares at, say, on a World Cup stage, why not try to make it into an industry locally anyway? Because they say that they could derive 9 products?
Yes.
From yams. Why not start it as a local industry?
Well, presumably because they haven't got wouldn't have a market for it, as far as they could see. The World Cup coming there would bring in people, they think, who would buy such a product.
I see.
Or such products.
But I don't know
if they have a market, then it would be worthwhile making the product, to offer the product to that market. But if they don't see themselves as having a market, then why would they waste time, effort, and resources?
Yeah, but who knows if it wouldn't be a waste of time anyway to try and target that market if you don't know how it would.
You know, so they wouldn't be the first persons in the world who had targeted a market with a product that did not take off. Right?
Right.
So, but if they saw the possibilities, if they thought they saw the likelihood, then they would try, and they would either succeed or fail. That's how business is. Business has no guarantee of success, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that. Okay?
But I'd say, though, that rather than sitting on laurels and saying that, boy, you know, they're not being brought into the market, I'd say try it on a local level. You never know, as you said, and business has no guarantee. It might work as well as it might not.
All right, suggest that to them.
Okay, sir?
Oh.
All right.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yes?
Mr. Perkins.
Good
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm calling from Stoke, Manchester.
Remember the road that we kind of tell about? You hear me?
Remember what?
And the road that we kind of tell about where in a bad condition.
Yes, which one is that?
The one in South Manchester, that is the MP road.
The what?
The MP response a highway road that. We call it WB, what do you call the road that again?
Where does that road lead to?
Oh, it leads from Marley Hill to Alligator Pond, Mandeville and Cloud and all of those places. Yeah.
Marley Hill?
Yeah, Marley Hill, South Manchester.
To Alligator Pond?
Yeah, yeah.
And then to Mandeville?
Yeah, yeah. And you can tell you right over the road to me.
All right.
Yeah. But I tell you, the coast like set up one little piece, Mr. Perkins. And I tell you, it can't put you, sir.
Pretty?
Yeah, the Cherry Brow, that I coast of South Manchester.
Well, congratulations to him. What the devil? Sorry about that. Okay, hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Willie.
Hi, how are you?
You didn't go to the big press barbecue at Bog Walk.
When was this?
You weren't invited?
No.
I don't believe you.
How?
Yesterday, over 300 people. High, low, medium, every kind. Ambassadors, etc.
Yes.
Were invited to this big barbecue. I don't know how they leave you. Well, they know you are one of them, so they don't have to bother.
I don't know. I mean, I tend not to be invited to such places and such doings,
But it's your party. It was at Louis Williams in Bog Walk.
It was what?
It was at Louis Williams in Bog Walk.
I don't know.
He has a big farm out there. And I think you should have been invited because...
I don't know why I should have been. People when they have...
The work you do for them.
People when they have their things, they invite whomever they wish.
But
and
you're
leave
the
off
media.
whomever they wish.
Aren't you a part of the media?
I'm not a part of the media, no. I happen to work on a radio station.
Well, the JLP had a heyday that
I'm not
day.
a part of the media.
They're now pampering the media to put in pictures. They didn't do it, I don't think, Mr. Lasme, with his colorful cartoon.
A short skirt. Anyway.
About you.
Yes, all right. Forget that.
Don't pull me tongue. That's disgraceful. And it is awful for the leader to print that.
What is disgraceful?
It is disgraceful. I don't say. And it is awful for the leader to print that.
What is disgraceful?
It is disgraceful. I don't see any other country doing this to their prime minister.
But hold on a moment. What the cartoonist is saying is that is the impression that the Prime Minister created in his mind when she spoke as she spoke. That's all he's saying.
I told you, when she speaks and you high class don't understand it, it's because she's speaking to her people. You high class aristocrats.
No, hold on a little bit. To behave seemingly is to be high class.
To behave as if you have never heard a type of talk that she speaks before. Right? Listen to Ragashanti. Ragashanti speaks that way all the time except when he's at the university. You have to speak.
Now why? Oh, I see. Except when he's at the university.
Exactly. But
so when he's hold on a little bit. When he's not at the university, among those hoity-toity, learned, intellectual types up there.
Exactly.
He behaves condescendingly to all the uneducated niggers who might be listening to his program.
That is your impression.
I'm asking you.
He speaks to them in a language they understand.
And I tell you something.
Sometimes they call you...
I tell you something, Mom. I tell you something. It is not true that for somebody to speak Jamaican dialect. Patois.
Right, which Mrs. Cooper Wards put into the university.
Yes, it is not true that necessarily implies speech, speaking in the way that the Prime Minister has been heard speaking.
The Prime Minister speaks quite plain English that everybody can understand.
Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Yes, hello?
I can hardly hear you.
Hello, Mom.
Yeah.
I think that the point that the cartoonist was making was that that the Prime Minister had behaved in a manner, had spoken in a manner, which was not consistent.
You're going away again. I cannot hear you.
I'm saying that my understanding of what the cartoonist was saying was, among other things, that the Prime Minister had behaved in a way which was not prime ministerial, which was not consistent with her office. And therefore, he put it the way he put it, because he's an artist. That's the way artists work. They hold up a mirror to society, right? Not in the form of words and things, but in the form of images. And what he's saying is that the image that she portrayed was not the image of a prime minister. Right?
Willie.
Yes, ma'am?
Can I say to you, the last one he did too was her sweeping with a broom.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
I wonder if it was that he got so happy for the invitation to go to Bog Walk that he thought he'd do the favors before he went out there.
I don't know. Did he go to Bog Walk?
I don't know, but all the press, it was a day for the press.
Yes.
That the JLP had, right?
That the JLP had.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Louis Williams, right?
Uh-huh.
And all the press were sweetened up, right? Now, I can't tell you, other people were 300 people in all. Now, I don't know if it was a money-gathering thing or if it was just to sweeten the press, right? But maybe his invitation came early enough for him to put that horrible cartoon. You have not asked me of my day in Olympic Garden with the diabetics and the National Health Association.
No, but you came talking about something else.
I came to know.
Yes.
I went down there, and the people were so starved for the medications. I went down there, and the people were so starved for the medications, not the medications, for somebody.
What area was this? What area was this?
Olympic Gardens, where they always tell you people are shooting up one another, but it's not true. I went there, they had it in a church, and they had 5 categories: diabetes, and they had high blood pressure, and they had cholesterol, all kinds of things. And the people started coming from 7 o'clock in the morning till 6, although they closed down at 4. Now, I thought they did a pretty good job. I wouldn't say a good job. Because when you speak to old people, especially, who work quite a lot, because I said it was for the old people, you can't tell them about hypertension. And I said to the man, how do they know what that means? And he kept reading from a pamphlet and reading, which was like a waste of a day. The old people didn't benefit.
And he couldn't say high blood pressure?
I don't know why he couldn't say. He was reading from a pamphlet. I says, do you think they understand what you're saying? Oh, yes. He says, we're sent here to do this. So I'm going to do it on my own in another church, right, with normal people. Because 3 people came to me the next day to take their blood sugar for them because they were so alarmed that the people down there sent them to a doctor. And when I took their blood for diabetes, they didn't have no high sugar. They were normal. Right? So that kind of help I don't really need. But coming out now with my friend driving down, here comes a girl wiggling down the road. And she had on something like the top of her bottom, the split, you saw it. It covered a part. The bottom of the bottom, you saw it again. So actually she had just like a loincloth around there. Right? Now, is this the way everybody's going to start walking on the street?
I don't know.
Right? Is this, and I said to the girl, well, who the heck, what kind of thing is that she doing, hugging up the man or walking down looking like that? Is a go girl, Misty, you can't trouble them, you know.
Maybe what she needs is a husband to make a credit card available to her so that she can buy some.
Why must you be sarcastic?
Some lovely,
Why must you be?
Did you read Miss Dawnrich's column yesterday?
No, what did you say this morning about it? I didn't
Yes, she mentioned some famous company that miss the credit card
Chanel.
Chanel, yes.
Right. And how you think they would know what that is?
Well, I don't know, but you could tell them if they had some credit cards, maybe they could compete for the...
I don't know how you didn't get invited.
Maybe they could compete for the title of the best dressed chicken.
But because you're doing your job so well, you don't have to get invited to none of these.
Look here, maybe if they had some credit cards, they could compete for the title of the best dressed chicken in town.
Best dressed chicken in town?
Yes.
Why?
Well, why not?
Who is the best dressed chicken in town?
Whom do you think? Well, obviously it would have to be somebody who had access to some credit cards and...
You better call Robert Levy and ask him who is the best dressed chicken in town.
All right.
Because it's sure not what you're referring to.
I see.
But Bruce must think you're doing a wonderful job.
Who?
Bruce. You're certainly, that's why you didn't bother. You are at the top of the line, so you don't have to bother you. If the others have to get
At the top of which line?
The top of the line for advertising for them freely.
Advertising for whom?
For your party.
My party?
Yeah.
Oh?
So freely.
Which is my party? What you hear me advertising for them?
Every day.
Oh?
Every program you open is against Portia. Everything she does bothers you. You want her to be an elite, and she will never be an elite.
Look here, Mom. I say what I consider to be true.
Whether not what you consider to be true, what you consider...
Whether it happens to serve the interest of the Labour Party, of the People's National Party. The one interest that I hope it serves is that of Jamaica. Right?
The one interest that it is serving is, thank God the people don't listen to you. They go to Ragashanti.
They go to Ragashanti.
It's very hard to get on.
Good for Ragashanti.
Very good.
Uh-huh.
Goodbye.
Okay, Mom. Okay, hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Mr.
Yes, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for taking my call.
I'm happy to have it.
Yes, my question to you, sir, is by what measure or how do you measure, the government, the accomplishment of the government of Jamaica?
How do we measure it?
Yes.
Well, I don't know that there's any sort of tape measure that can do that job. Nor do I suppose a quart pan would do either. It is a matter of judgment. Is it not?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yes, I'm saying it's a matter of judgment.
So, for instance, the previous Prime Minister, Mr. Patterson, what will his legacy be? I mean, by what measure do you measure his accomplishments? I mean,
Well, look, sir, by what measure do you measure the accomplishments of President Bush? Or of Mr. Blair in Britain? Or of a German chancellor or a French president?
There are several key factors. By how well the economy did. How many people...
All right. Hold on. We can measure Mr. Patterson like that too. How well did the economy do?
Excuse me? Yes. By how well the economy do?
Yes.
How much people come off poverty since during his administration or her administration?
Uh-huh. How much crime there has been in the country?
Yes.
And the government's ability to bring it under control?
Right.
Uh-huh.
So here you have a current administration or a current...
So then let me ask you something. Why did you ask that question then? Did you think that there was some different way of measuring governmental performance in Jamaica that there should be?
I can't hear you. I didn't get the last.
I said I wanted to know why you asked the question that you asked. Were you expecting that there would be some different way of measuring governmental performance in Jamaica?
No.
No. So why did you ask the question?
Well, I asked the question because in Jamaica, no one seems to want to ask that question. You know, how is this government get evaluated? How do you measure? You know, or by what measures this government get evaluated?
You measure the government by the way in which government policies affect the country, sir. The ways. Right?
Yeah.
All right? That's it?
All right, sir.
Thank you very much. We take a break. We come back shortly. Okay. Thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, yes?
How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm holding up.
Good.
I want to ask you a question.
Speak up for me. Not hearing you.
I want to ask you a question.
Eh?
I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
What is your position on campaign financing?
What is my position
on campaign
on
financing?
Campaign financing?
Yes.
Well, what specifically do you have in mind?
As it relates to the whole traffic war affair. Tell me, what is your position?
Well, it seems to me that something wrong happened in relation to that traffic bureau incident. Highly suspicious.
In terms of?
Well, the relationship of traffic bureau to the party. The idea that traffic bureau was prepared to give to the well, first of all, there's a dispute, a difference of explanation. Traffic bureau gives one explanation, the party gives another. Right? Am I right?
True. Go ahead. Yeah, I hear
so
you.
wherever one hears that happening, that would suggest that there is some dishonesty somewhere.
Okay, let me ask you.
Am I right?
Fine. But don't you believe the underlying factor in this whole affair between Trafigura and the government, or the PNP, I should say, leaning towards campaign financing rather than the whole fact of what you would say now?
Yes, but then what interest would Trafigura have in the PNP and the politics of Jamaica that it would want to contribute that amount of money to the PNP's campaign fund?
Then hold on. All right, and we said that, and it is said that the same money that was contributed to the PNP was used to fund the party conference, right?
The same money?
Yeah,
that was contributed to the PNP.
It's the same $31 million.
You mean the party used the money that it got from Trafigura,
right,
to fund the...
That's what is being said.
Well, I don't know. I'm in no position to...
Well, that's
to
the
say
argument
that is so.
I hear out there. And the real issue is campaign financing. Why is it that we don't want...
No, sir, the real issue is more than a matter of campaign financing. Right? The fact that
I will not allow you to say that. I am saying to you that the real issue...
What do you mean you won't allow me to say that?
No, because you're going to set me down a road where I don't want to go. And I'm saying to you that the real issue is campaign financing.
Hold on.
That's the real issue.
What?
That is the real issue.
What?
Campaign financing.
It is not entirely an issue of campaign financing.
Why is not an issue of campaign financing? All political party accept donation or money from particular interest group.
Whatever the regulations dealing with campaign financing. the possibility is always going to exist of crookedness. Right? No. Those regulations may not necessarily be observed, and people will lie as to how much they got and where they got it from and so on. Right? And what I'm saying is that there is, in what has happened with Trafigura, a highly suspicious situation suggesting crookedness.
Let me ask you, all right?
Hold on.
No.
Hold on a little bit. And also, well, crookedness, certainly the government has, the party has told one story. Trafigura has told another as to what was the reason for sending this money.
Irrespective of the story that has been told,
yes,
sir, right?
Yes.
Every political party in the world, when they accept donation or funding from their sources, the source always want to remain unidentified. Is that true?
I don't know that is necessarily
that's
so.
True.
I am not sure.
That is true.
No,
the source don't want to be identified.
I said don't
right?
know.
And my question to you,
I don't know that is so.
My question to you is that when everybody raised hell about the whole donation and the whole mother of all conference,
yes,
I never hear you talk about how the GLP funded their conference, or who are the person behind them funding that the Granny of All conference.
Yes, but did you hear me?
No, I want to hear, shouldn't there be a real issue? And that is why I started out by saying to you that the real issue in the entire Trafigura affair has to come back down to party financing, how political parties raise their funds. That is the real issue. You're not going there.
The real issue had to do with corruption.
No, it has nothing to do with corruption.
Then why is it that Trafigura is telling one story? Hold on a little bit.
No,
why is it that Trafigura is telling one story as to the reason for taking the money? And the PNP is telling us another.
And I just answered your question a while ago by saying to you that any individual or any interest group that is making a donation to any political party will always want to remain anonymous.
Look here,
that is a fact.
Hold on.
That is a fact.
If Trafigura gave the money to the PNP as a contribution to its party funding, then Trafigura would be doing something illegal.
Go ahead, yes. We know the whole ECS.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
So why was Trafigura? Trafigura is prepared to break the law, right? To make a contribution to the PNP. Now Trafigura doesn't live in Jamaica, right? What is the interest that Trafigura has in the PNP that would lead it to want to make so substantial a contribution to the party's funding? Right?
Go ahead. I mean,
what is the interest that they have?
Whatever the interest may be.
No.
The fact that
don't slide over it like that.
I am not sliding over it.
Trafigura.
You are sliding over my issue. I call you with a particular issue. I want to hear you ask the same person.
Trafigura.
Hold on.
Trafigura. Trafigura to be prepared to make such a contribution to the PNP, which exceeds, as I recall,
Mr. Perkins, don't go there. I know where you're going. Don't go there. No.
Exceeds the income that Jamaica received.
No, I don't want to go there.
What do you mean you don't want to go there?
No, don't go there. I am saying to you.
There were years when Jamaica did not get that amount of money out of the Nigerian oil fund. Oil.
I am saying to you.
Sales, as I recall.
I am saying to you.
Am I right?
Listen. I am saying.
Am I right?
Saying to you.
Am I right?
Hold on. I'm not going there with you.
Why are you not going there?
I'm not going there because you're turning.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. We don't work by those principles or lack of them.
But I want to raise a particular issue.
You came here raising an issue about traffic bureau.
But you're spinning it a different way.
I am not spinning it in any different way.
You are spinning it a different way.
Right?
And I want to make a point. And
you came here to say.
No, I am saying to you, Mr. Perkins.
No.
We have
I run this program. Hold on, sir. I run this program.
I know that you run the program.
Now, if you come here, you're going to go by my rules, right? Which I hope are reasonable.
All right. Sir.
Okay?
I hear you.
You are coming here wanting to say that this is all a matter of party funding. I'm saying it is not.
And you're saying not even one of it. Not one of the points I've raised.
Political parties can be funded by private companies and individuals, right? Without crookedness entering into it. Crookedness can enter into it.
I don't see anything crookedness into anything.
Then why are people telling lies about this?
If you're going to speak that there is ethics, if you're going to speak to the regard that there's some moral involved in it, then fine. The fact of the matter is that
what interest?
No.
Hold on, sir. When a Jamaican company funds a Jamaican party, one can understand that, right?
Mr. Perkins.
Why would a Dutch company?
Mr. Perkins.
Hold on, sir. What interest would a Dutch company have in the PNP winning an election in Jamaica?
But you already know the answer to that. I don't need to tell you the answer to that.
What is the answer?
No, you know the answer to that.
Hold on, sir.
You know the answer to that.
Hold on a little bit. They want to continue to enjoy what they have been enjoying. And they are not sure that if another party were to come into power, they would be allowed to continue enjoying what they have been enjoying.
Are you aware of the peerage scandal in England?
Is that it?
I'm asking you a question.
I'm asking you, sir. I first asked you.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know whether that is it?
I don't know.
Then if not that, what is it?
I am saying to you, are you aware of the whole peerage scandal in England?
I am asking you. If that is not the reason,
Mr. Perkins,
why traffic bureau?
I am making a case for my point, right? And I want you to listen to what I'm saying. All I'm saying to you.
Well, we must deal with one issue first, so we can't just go about the place like that.
We're going to deal with the other issues.
I asked you a question.
And I've answered your question.
What is the answer you've given?
I've said to you, maybe so.
Maybe so? In relation to what?
To what you said a while ago about they might fear that another party might come in and might change, whatever, maybe so. But the fact that but the fact of the matter is that
if they're doing a good job of work,
hold on, there is a peerage scandal in England.
If they are doing a good job of work for Jamaica, and Jamaica is benefiting from what they are doing, then why would they expect that a new party coming into office would want to get rid of them?
That's why I made my point earlier that I did not want to go there, because you're going to go somewhere else. I am saying to you that the real issue, right, the fundamental issue is campaign financing, right? Spin it, turn it, paint it, whatever way you want to turn it. The fact of the matter is how political parties are financed. No. The JLP kept the Granny Fall conference. I don't hear you come and ask, where did they get the money to fund such a large conference? That is my problem I have. Right? And I want you, I was hoping when everybody was making the whole noise and racket about the whole issue of the...
But up to now, sir, I'm not aware of any evidence.
Any evidence?
Any evidence.
So why...
Hold on. I'm not aware of any evidence suggesting that the JLP was funded crookedly.
No, take out the crookedness part, because that is your opinion. As I say, if there has to be with an ethics or some moral to it, in the sense that traffic goer has a contract with the government, I'll go there. But if you're going to come on the you're going to come on the radio and tell the nation that there is crookedness to it, that is not totally true. That is not true, and that is misleading. That is not true.
Hold on a moment for me. Back on that. We're back on line. Hello?
Good. Yes, sir. I'm saying to you that campaign financing...
That's what?
Campaign financing is a troublesome problem worldwide. It's not just immune to Jamaica alone.
Maybe so.
And the fact of the matter is that even in England, they have issues with the whole peerage scandal where Tony Blair tried to circumvent the whole situation and to get more funding out of the whole thing. But the point I was making before we went to the break is that
everybody castigate the People's National Party about the whole Trafigura affair.
Yes.
And I don't hear anybody at all talk about where the Jamaica Labour Party got their money from in funding the
But do you have
conference.
any evidence?
And you are saying
do you
to me a
have
while ago
any
that no.
But hold on,
you
sir.
are saying to me, well,
hold on a moment.
Finish and allow you.
Hold on a moment. Do you have any evidence that the Labour Party has acquired campaign funding in any inappropriate or corrupt way? If so, give it to me.
I'm not going down there with you,
You're not going down there?
No, because you are suggesting...
So you have no such order?
You are saying that the People's National Party acquired funding in a crooked way, and I'm telling you
let me ask you
so.
something.
That is not so.
Could I ask you something? Could I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you remember the Attorney General saying that if he had then known what he now knows, he would not have spoken as he spoke? You remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
In other words, the Attorney General was suggesting, was he not, that there was something, he had been defending a position.
No, not necessarily.
Hold on.
Not necessarily.
Hold on, sir. He had been defending a position when he spoke originally. And he then said that had he known then what he now knows, he would not have defended the party's position in the way that he did.
And I'm answering your question
by saying... Isn't that what he said?
Yes, he said that, and I'm now answering your question.
Isn't that what he said?
I have already answered you, and I'm now saying to you now...
No, in what way have you answered?
I said, yes, I remember what he said, but the fact of the matter is that it does not necessarily mean that he would have probably changed his opinion or anything or not, or wouldn't stand by the gentleman.
No.
Right. No, it doesn't mean that.
No.
It doesn't mean that.
He defended the party's position.
Yes, he defended, and he have every right to defend the party's position.
And he then said that he would not have, in other words, that he would not have defended the party's position as he did, had he known then what he now knows.
Mr. Perkins, let me say something to you.
Do you remember Mr. Colin Campbell's...
I answered the question.
Do you remember Mr. Colin Campbell's role in all of this?
Mr. Perkins, I want to say something as it relates to the Attorney General.
Why would Mr. Colin Campbell have thought it necessary to resign over this matter?
Maybe on the basis that maybe he has not fully told the party in everything in entirety, but the fact of the matter is, yes, the fact of the matter is that whatever the answer or whatever the position, no, allow me. I've listened to you a while ago. Please allow me. I am saying to you, whatever the position that was taken by the Attorney General then, the fact of the matter is that maybe when the gentleman was telling the Attorney General the position, he never fully tell him everything. But it does not mean that he would have changed any position somewhat or would not have come out in staunch defense.
Look here, I tell you what.
No, you are missing my point.
You have set out to waste time on this.
No, you are missing my...
That's what you're doing. Thank you very much. I've given you quite more than enough. Okay? Okay, we have some email.
Mr. Perkins, I must confess that I did not see the Prime Minister's cartoon. That is the cartoon that was done by last May in the Observer on the Honorable Prime Minister. It was only after the hub that I saw it on Hype TV. Mr. Perkins, she began her statement with, "You don't know. You don't know." Now, "you don't know," Mr. Perkins, is the language of the people from the bowels of the working class. That is how they frame their questions. It means that you know already. Now, Mr. Perkins, the lady came to power, loudly trumpeting that she was from the bowels of the working class. Why is it that when she's depicted as speaking like them, she takes offense? As for the drawing Mr. Perkins, you only have to stand up at Halfway Tree or any city center in any part of the country, not only the corporate area, and you will see the women dressed like that. That is how they are commonly dressed. Belly skin must be showing. So I cannot see what all this is about. The Prime Minister claimed this persona. If the cartoonist heard certain words which presented to his mind an image of such a persona, then this is how he will portray it. I cannot see what all these journalists like Mr. Desmond Allen, who, if he has any common sense, would keep his mouth shut, because every time he opens it, he's an embarrassment to the profession that calls itself journalism.
Oh, Lord. Look here, I wouldn't like to reduce the thing to a matter of you don't know. You don't know, right? I don't think that speaking the language of the working class, in short, Jamaican patois, Jamaican dialect, whichever you want to call it, necessarily lowers the office from which you speak in public esteem. It should not. And in fact does not. But it was Sister P's response, or the Prime Minister's response, was to the issue of her travels abroad and the cost to the country of those travels. And she went into her relation or business with her husband and in giving her card and how she likes sleeping in her own bed and all the rest of it. And I suppose that gave to Mr. what's his name? The cartoonist.
Lasme.
Mr. Lasme. An impression which he put into that cartoon.
I think that's what
that is what I see, and I really don't see that if she, by her own conduct, creates impressions like that, then that it would be the fault of a cartoonist for putting that into a cartoon. If she thinks that this violates the dignity of the Prime Ministership, then she shouldn't behave like that, or behave in ways that would conjure up that kind of image in the minds of cartoonists and of the public.
Dear Mr. Perkins, I can tell you one thing. Elections are going to be called, and called very soon, possibly immediately after the World Cup, but not before. But surely before the next budget is presented. Mr. Perkins, you can depend upon it. The PNP-YO and the Young Patriots are all over the talk shows every day. But because of their youth, they clearly do not understand history. Or maybe they are deliberately distorting it. But they are not really having an effect because they are easily discernible. I heard the one with you last week, and Mr. Perkins, I know his actual name. Although he denied that he was a PNP-YO, he, in fact, is a member.
Well, we don't mind having PNP-YO on this program. Nothing wrong with that. They're as much entitled to be here as anybody else. What is interesting, though, in connection with what that writer is saying, is the ways in which certain issues have suddenly sort of come to prominence. Color and class. And it is clearly going to be a theme of the PNP's campaign that criticisms are being made of the Prime Minister on the basis of color and class. Okay, thank you very much. We're back online. We go on with the email.
Mr. Perkins, can you say if we're still poised? Mr. Perkins, can you say if we're still poised for growth? Or have we started growing?
Have we what?
Started growing already? Or have we dropped off the roost?
I don't know. I think you should put that question to Mr. Greenspin, no?
Mr. Perkins, thank God, one of our newspapers has eventually begun to investigate the theft of this money, nearly $7 million Jamaican dollar, which was paid by the USA Post to the Jamaican Post in 2001. We are beginning to think that investigative journalism was stiff-stone dead. The Jamaican Post chairman and executives have apparently dropped the case and threw up their hands in because they discovered that the check was cashed in a USA bank. This is the $100,000 US check which was sent by the United States Postal Agency to the Jamaica Postal Agency in 2001, and which the agencies here are saying they never received, and the United States Postal Agency has presented them with a copy of a return check which was now reported to have been encashed in a bank in the United States. This email is in respect of that. And it just began like that.
Yeah,
see,
I
haven't finished it, can I? In this age of easy communications, Mr. Perkins, by email, fax, cheap travel, etc., it should not take more than 1 week to find out who cashed this check, in what overseas bank, and who was the beneficiary of this transaction. And where in the world, even more so in the USA, can this be done? In a flash, I work in the banking system, Mr. Perkins, and I can tell you this is so. Failure to do this is nothing but a brazen cover-up, which should elude no one. This makes us even more suspicious than initially, and we need an intensive investigation, since this report has finally surfaced again in the Auditor General's report of 2005-2006. Incidentally, Jamaicans should know that the Auditor General reports are now online as far back as 5 years. You can go and look through them, leading right up to the last one, which was posted recently. So we are able to follow this account for ourselves from over here. Only God knows how some of these incidents have not been commented on before by the press, because there are many. These infringements, there are many. We have a Foreign Service Department which is terribly underutilized, for which we are paying far too much of our scarce resources, and we should have been directed to address our number one problem, justice administration and crime fighting. Did the Post Office Department enlist those services, including those of the USA Embassy, which has always helped in matters of this sort, to resolve this simple matter? Or is it a fact that the check was cashed in the USA?
I would like to...
Or is it just a convenient excuse to drop the matter? My best guess is that this matter is so simple that the post office officials know who cashed the check, but choose to remain silent because it's a grand cover-up. I'm sure that our Prime Minister knows how many poor people's children could have been provided with good toilets instead of pit toilets, how many school lunches, primary school and basic school roofs, loan for small business, etc. she could do with this $7 million. If she puts her foot down on this and other corruptions, it will send a message to those who are stealing billions. What are we waiting for? Stop this brazen theft from the poor people we say we care about.
But I don't understand how a check sent to the post office, Post and Telegraphs Department in Jamaica by the U.S. Post and Telegraph people, how that check could then turn up to be cashed in an American bank when it was sent to a government body in Jamaica. I don't follow that.
That story was in the Herald yesterday.
Yes, I know.
Front page of the Herald.
Yes. I don't understand that. And also, I was under the impression that in the United States as in Jamaica, that a check written to a company could not be endorsed and cashed by an individual, or could not indeed be cashed. It would have to be lodged to an account. So I don't know, some very strange things happening here. Not for the first time.
And not for the first time involved in a postal agency. The postal agency.
Yes.
The postal corporation.
Yes, indeed.
Dear Mr. Perkins, I'm sitting here wondering how many Jamaican citizens have had their lives snuffed out by our defenders and servants, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, this year so far. I seem to read a new report almost every day. What really is the total? I am guessing at least 20 or so.
I don't know if they've reached that yet.
Have you spoken with Dr. Caroline Gomes recently? I would love to hear her thoughts on this and on the acquittal of the 4 police personnel, including 2 police women, who were involved in the case, in the death of a 17-year-old at a police station 2 years ago. He was severely beaten, it was reported, and shot twice, once in the back, once in the back of the head. My blood ran cold when I read that report. I feel for the poor mother, who apparently sobbed uncontrollably in court when the not guilty verdict was read out. Meanwhile, the head of the PAJ and the JMA and other pillars of our rotten society are bristling with moral outrage at a political cartoon. I don't know whether to laugh or cry, but really it's a tragedy. My heart bleeds for this country and its messed up values, its corruption and its hypocrisy. Sometimes I feel the hour of the rough beast has arrived at last.
Yes, I didn't follow that case too closely, but it seems to me a little odd that 4 police personnel could have beaten and then had to shoot this man. Don't follow that. If they were in a position to beat him, then why did they have to shoot him? I don't know. Don't understand it.
Mr. Perkins, you are indeed correct.
If what?
You are indeed correct. The idea is to waste your time. The caller is in fact a comrade from Region 3. I know him personally. Hi, Mr. Perkins. I feel obligated to comment on some items I heard on the news this morning. Mayor Giscombe and the court action brought against him, and read the taxonon. Mr. Perkins, there is something going on in a certain constituency from January. Statements were collected by top officials in the force, but no arrest of the person has been made. He has since resigned his post. Mr. Perkins, you are going to see a lot more of this type of thing when it comes to the parish council. This is where the election is at first being fought, Mr. Perkins. They are going to tear down the parish councils. I am sorry you did not get Mr. Douglas last week, because he was reported to have said that one of the reasons they cannot bring a case against the Anotobe Parish Council was because the government official who had the tapes and the computer in his possession was held up by gunmen. I heard you trying to get that person on the TV, on the program, without success. Later on, there was something on TV now about Mayor Giscombe. I am telling you, Mr. Perkins, it's an attack on the parish councils.
Huh. Ah, well. And the Giscombe story has been carried on just about every medium. What has not got anywhere near the same coverage is the story of that former candidate in St. Elizabeth.
Is that the story in the Herald about the gentleman being charged with carnal abuse?
But it has not been carried on many of the media, as far as I'm aware. Anyway.
Mr. Perkins, the standards in Jamaica, a country that I love, and like the late Basil will not leave, is becoming very sad. Every aspect of life that you would expect the normal middle class to be enjoying has been lowered. For the first time since independence, we have ourselves a prime minister who is liked by many across the political divide, but at the same time who more and more every day is becoming a liability to the very party who once thought of her as its only hope.
Is the party saying that it considers her a liability? I haven't heard that.
No, the gentleman is saying so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here.
Dear Mr. Perkins, I just wanted to comment and to put my 2 cents, as it were, about the conversation you had with a caller earlier. I firmly believe that the caller summed up precisely what is wrong with Jamaica. We, as Jamaicans, have the habit of blaming everyone else but ourselves for the state that we are in. How quickly we forget the actions of the politicians, especially Mr. Manley and Mr. Patterson, for the last 15 to 20 years. And Dr. Omar Davis, that long-distance runner for the death spiral of the country, which they helped to contribute to. I would like to see how they put that one on what the white man has done to us. It is a sad situation when the politics of this country is coming down in the year 2007 to class and to color. I heard the egregious professor on Breakfast Club this morning, Mr. Perkins.
Not egregious, egregious.
And only in Jamaica, I kept shaking my head and muttering to myself, only in Jamaica.
Yes, that's very sad thought. And, it only goes to show you the role that these people from the intellectual ghetto play in this country. Rather than helping people to understand better, they're adding to the process of confusion.
Mr. Perkins, whatever happened to that Taking Responsibility committee?
I think they're broken up.
Mr. Perkins, I thought by now they would have come out with a manifesto and would have been able to tell us how we had organized the business of this country so that our debt is now at $1 trillion mark, and we should all come forward and take responsibility for the debt, the unemployment, the crime. It was all our doing, all of us. I felt heartened when I saw a certain lady heading it up, because at least she could have helped in the finance department. But I am sorry that I am not hearing much more about it.
Mr. Seaga had an article yesterday about what they call it, the sins of slavery.
Yes.
The sins of slavery that are still with us. 100 and how many years? 100 and nearly 200 years. 1838 to now. After the abolition of slavery. We don't in this country seem to have a very clear understanding of history.
There's the next one on slavery too. Mm-hmm.
We think that history is something indelibly written in the past. We don't understand that history is something that is being made every day, made and remade every day. And if we are dissatisfied with what came out of slavery, we have had an abundance of opportunity to change it, right? And particularly since becoming independent, we could have changed. Well, I don't know what we could not have changed, right? The record would still be there, but the sins of slavery don't have to remain with us, because it is in our power to make history. We can make history. We have the power to do that. And we don't just have to accept what happened 500 years ago and the consequences of it for ourselves. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Dear Mr. Perkins, did you hear Breakfast Club this morning? I heard two learned professors, both of them black, talking about what it means. What do you mean when you say you are black? And they were speaking of Barack Obama. They said that Barack Obama is not felt by black Americans to be black because his mother was white. Mr. Perkins, how many of those professional black men have white wives?
Yes.
It is a kind of schizophrenia which Marcus Garvey knew well about. Jamaica is in a different category from that, say, of the United States. We now own our country. And if we believe what a leader once said, that it is black man time now, it has been for quite a while. who has been leading us since 1938. Wouldn't a rational person believe that a beautiful, lush country such as Jamaica, which has so much potential to be enough reparation, instead we prefer a handout. We would prefer for England to bail us out again, time and time again, so we don't have to face the blundering mistakes, corruption and ignorance that is so rampant in Jamaica today. As for those who want to move back to Africa, I don't need to dignify that with a response, because what they say is utter rubbish. And whoever believes that Africa is much better than Jamaica needs to visit a library once in a while and do some research. I don't believe Rwanda has been far removed from what, I hate to say it, one of the most stable places in Africa is South Africa. And let me tell you, it is no bed of roses. Jamaica is a paradise. Stop supporting corruption. Start moving, and you'll see.
Okay, that's it. Okay. Okay, we're back on there. We're back with our callers now. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Uh-huh.
First time to your show.
Happy to be with you.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm happy to be with you, because earlier this morning I heard a call. Firstly, I must ask you a question. Have this country ever done anything to you, done anything that you've benefited from?
Has this country ever done anything that I have benefited from?
Right.
I'm sure. I mean, I have benefited from I was born, grew up in Jamaica, and yes, I have benefited from.
Have this country, and particularly this government, done anything that Jamaicans can be proud of?
The government. You're talking about the government.
The government.
This government.
This government, or the PNP government, because I think that's
between PNP government.
Right.
I think the Norman Manley government. There are things that it did that.
Okay, it leads me to the next thing. This morning I was
the Michael Manley government is a bit of a problem, and the government between 1989 and the present. Can you tell me? Make some suggestions, what it has done.
No, I want just hear me out, please.
Hold on. But you asked me a question. I would love to answer it. I'm having difficulty.
Just hear me out. Please.
No. Wait. Hold on a minute. You came and you asked me a question.
Yeah, but
I would like to answer the question, but I'm asking you to give me some help.
Well, I will. Just
suggest
hear me out,
a few things to me that they've done that we can be proud of.
You want your argument to follow. I want a flow. I want mine to flow. This morning I was driving to school, and I heard a caller calling from overseas. He said to you that he came here. He enjoyed himself, and he liked the country, and he went away earlier in the earlier years and grew up overseas. He said that he enjoyed himself and he wanted to come back. He called you because he was advised by some stupid person, I would think, to listen to your program and to get the real feel of Jamaica. And right away him saying feeling doom and gloom. I'm saying to you, Mr. Perkins, the media as an institution of Jamaica has a role to play in the development process of the country. And I'm sure that in all the midst of some of the negative that is happening, there are few positive and there are positives that the media can report to Jamaica and to the wider world.
Well, help me, sir.
Wait now. I just want to make a point, and then you can ask me the question and I will answer you. We must stop spread doom and gloom and look at some of the.
Was I spreading doom and gloom?
Yes.
What did I tell him?
All the hospitals are overflooded by cockroaches and things like that.
Well, hold on. You didn't wait for me to end my question. What did I tell him that was not true?
Repeat. Am I hearing him properly now?
I beg your pardon? What did I tell him that was not true.
I'm not saying that it might not happen in one or two hospitals, Mr. Perkins.
What might not happen in one or two hospitals?
He asked you to give your honest opinion on the country, and all you could have focused on was the negative. One of the,
what would you have told him?
What is it that we as a people can rise above the challenges and help our country?
But we have yet to do that.
Well,
we have yet to do that, and that is not the direction in which we are going under the present leadership.
In your opinion, you think that we have not started to do that? In my opinion, I have started to help my country. And you know why? And I will tell you. I started a small business for myself. I'm a young man. I might sound old, but I'm a young man. I started a small business for myself 1.5 years ago. I want you to basically just guess how much I started with.
You did what?
Started a small business for myself.
Yes, I know. I heard that.
I started with 60,000 Jamaican.
Oh, look here. Would you like to hold on? We have to take a break.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. We're back online. Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
As I was saying, I'm one of the possibility, and I'm one of the hope, and I'm one of the positive of this country. When I used to work with a government agency, and
Am I to understand from that you're in the party?
No, don't do that, because that's what you always do. When person call and talk about positive about the country, you associate them with the governing party. I could base on
you're not associated with the governing party.
Allow me now, please. I could base on your criticism of the government policies and the country that associated with the Jamaica Labour Party.
That's what your friends say.
No,
every day.
No, would that be fair to you? Would that be fair to you?
I'm asking you a question.
Based on the criticism that you have been doing.
I am asking you a question.
Would that be fair to say that you're a Jamaica Labour Party
member? No, because I think that my criticisms are factual.
No, but that's why. Allow me to go into my. Allow me. I took salary advance 2 months, $60,000, and since like the quote US, that's roughly $923 US, and I started a small business for myself. In the space of a year and a half, I was able to not one sending myself back to school now to do my first degree. 2, I'm making almost a 7-digit figure, employing 3 full-time persons and 2 part-time persons. I'm contributing to this country, and I'm making a difference. While
so you are now at university.
I am at university now, and when I left high school, I did not have all my 6 C's.
Yeah,
and I went back.
Are you at the intellectual ghetto?
Whatever you want, it is making me better in life.
I see.
It is making me better in life.
Yes.
So instead of criticizing that intellectual ghetto, encourage the young people.
Did I criticize it?
No,
I just asked you if you were there.
You must encourage the young people of this country to not be dependent on handouts. To access the little facilities, though small they might be, access them and help to develop their life, and stop spreading doom and gloom.
I'm spreading doom and gloom.
I speak of the hard NTA where but then don't tell them to go there.
Hold on.
Start over.
Hold on.
Speak of the Jamaica business development.
Hold on. If doom and gloom is what I see around me, that is what I'm going to talk about.
Repeat.
Right? I'm not going to try to fool up people.
You're not
that things are fine and that the economy is on the threshold of a new beginning.
No.
All this kind of rubbish.
You need to be.
I'm not into that.
You're not into that. You need to be fair and just.
If what you want is a propagandist to help you, talk me out. I am not in that.
I'm bread of this country to find the positive, to direct the youth and help to save them. You understand?
Yes.
We as citizens, every single Jamaica.
Well, the first thing that the youth must do to save themselves is recognize the situation for what it is. Don't allow themselves to be fooled. Okay?
Don't allow them to be fooled. And fooled not by the politician
They need to recognize the truth for what it is. And if the consequences of that is doom and gloom, well, so be it.
But Mr. Perkins,
don't lie to yourself.
responsible journalists and talk show hosts need to also point out the negative to keep opposition and the government on them toe, and also to highlight the positive that is happening.
What are these positives that are happening? Tell me about them.
Starting my business, I went to the Jamaica Business Development Center. That is an agency of the government.
Yes.
They will sit it with you, and they will help you to develop your business, and they will also help you to direct you to funding, and also at some point give you a small grant. Though small it may be, it can help. At NTA, you can go there and start over.
Yes. So why is it
a trade? Stop spreading doom.
Why is it that the economy is in the shape it is?
Repeat?
Why is it that the economy is in the state it is?
Why is it?
Yes.
Because people, every single person who comes from your favorite term, the intellectual, get to come out and look on the country to employ them. Try and create something for yourself and employ some persons. I have helped reduce this employment rate by 5. If every single Jamaican...
How many people you employ?
...something and at least employ one, it will be better. We as a people can make it better. It's not Labour right or PNP. It's Jamaicans. It's you, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
You need to help use your power where you have. Because you hear what? Everybody is recommending people to listen to you for the negativities of the country. If you...
No, I don't think that's why... I'm hoping that what they are recommending people to listen to me for is the truth. Right? And I'm not going to be part of the business of fooling
Mr. Perkins, the product.
Right?
You develop a product.
No.
You develop
there are some people.
That you develop is
there are some people in this country who have an interest in fooling up people. Right?
But you are fooling up people.
I am not in that.
You're not in that.
Okay. Thank you very much. All the best to you. Okay, thank you very much. We're back online. Hello?
Mr. P.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. I have a young fellow that come around me sometime, you know. His language is, you don't know, don't say nothing. That is the kind of language you have, you know.
Yes.
You don't know, don't say nothing. Listen to this now. This 100,000 check sent down here by the postal by United States Post, and it encashed, and we can't make it a tail out of it.
I don't understand that.
Precedents has been set where check has been drawn and gone through on the government, and it has been encashed, and it went where it wanted to go. It has
or where somebody wanted it to go.
Where somebody wanted it to go. Now, this case is a stain on this country. If simple proportion, if a check for 100,000 disappear like that, what happened to the 2 and 3 and 5,000 checks and all that?
Yes.
There are people crying all over where the checks registered in America has disappeared. This is incumbent on the government. This falls under the Minister of Telecommunications.
Yes.
They are to get even Scotland Yard and let us find where this 100,000 has got up to.
Yes.
This is not a little joke business.
No, it's a serious matter.
Business. This is serious business.
Yes.
And if you cannot trust our postal corporation of Jamaica to handle money coming from abroad, what next?
Well.
What next?
It had some difficulty with money coming from right here.
Right here, we are in trouble. That department has been in trouble from they changed the name to the Postal Corporation, and the mere gentleman, the chairman, he disappeared in midnight and gone back to the States.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Well,
move on. I hear this morning the egregious professor, not egregious, egregious. Yes, Professor Emeritus, saying that the last black president we had, that America had, was Bill Clinton. Who is fooling whom? Who is he trying to spin that on?
Well, I hear that it's been said in America to among blacks there.
Yeah, but when this man repeats this nonsense, he knows it's not true. He knows it's not true, and he was on the Breakfast Club saying it this morning. Anyway, I heard something on Miss Williams' show, and it's a serious thing, it's a dangerous thing for election. That the Don sit up the road, and he give a man a cell phone, and the cell phone is the one with the picture features, that the camera on it. And he's supposed to go into the ballot paper, take the ballot paper, photocopy his ex, and bring the picture of his ex out before he gets his money up the road. That is the first I've ever heard that. And
I heard they used to have a different system.
Yes.
Where, as I understand
with the ballot paper passing.
Yes.
Yes. I heard that. Now, I listened to a program several times. It came over, and this is, a waste of time. This come up on the BBC, and it's the interview, and they interviewed the finance minister of India.
Yes.
And it makes me look stupid, like we haven't got a finance minister. This economy of India, I was always suspicious of India. Right now I've got 2 packets of drugs. And when I see it was made Dr. Reddy's laboratory in India, I said, but wait, they're making drugs now?
They're developing all kinds of things.
All kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege.
I think the economy, what was it, 8% last year?
8.25%.
Yes.
8.4%.
Yes.
To be exact. And this
that's
this
pretty
year,
nearly 8.5.
And 7.5% the year before. And presently it is 9.1%.
Yes.
You understand? The finance minister was talking about it, and the GDP, here how it is structured, 54% in services, 20%, what that is
in goods and in goods.
Yes.
Probably manufacturing.
26% in export. And 20% in agriculture. And in export, they export steel, leather goods, textiles, and they export Mercedes-Benz car.
Yes.
India is a giant, moving very, very fast.
Yes.
If we had a finance minister with any brains, we'd send him down to listen to Mr. Chandaram, the finance minister of India. India are 1.1 billion people.
Yes.
1.1. And they come in with a run, a strong run. I am really surprised to realize. I once heard a man said to a doctor of Indian extraction in England, said, you're a doctor, but in your country. But the people are doing very, very well.
They are doing well.
When they're asked about the development that is taking place in India, and if he's not ashamed, because presently there are 300,000 people that lived on less than $1 a day.
Yes.
On less than $1 a day. In the area of agriculture, 150,000 people committed suicide in the last decade.
Oh, hell.
150,000, because when they plant and they're not getting the value for their goods, and they borrowed money on the little plot of land, they commit suicide. In the last 10 years, 150,000. And when they asked the finance minister, when he was interviewed on the interview about this, said, if he's satisfied with the speed of development, he says, yes, it's only in states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Andhra Pradesh, in the interland, that the development is not taking place. But the development is taking place
pretty rapidly.
Yeah. Now, India, we can learn a lesson from India. I never believed that could have happened, Mr.
Are we interested in any such lessons, sir?
Well, it don't look so. It don't look so because
lessons of the kind have been all around for quite some time.
2.7 million people, and we can't get this thing working properly.
Right.
It just come over the news that our finance minister, the financial secretary, Mr. Bullock, they're going to go on a road show. They're going to go on a road show this week to Europe.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, they're going to Switzerland, Italy, and all about on a road show to tell them about our economy.
I wonder if his wife has given him a credit card.
I wonder. Well, he said something near. One time he said if it wasn't she, he couldn't survive.
Yes, well.
He couldn't survive.
Yes, maybe she's the author of the credit cards.
Possibly. Mr. P, believe me, I never believe India are taken aback because I have watched them. And the past 2 years I keep this thing when I say that the drugs is manufactured in India. Because I hear...
And they've been highly developed in terms of computer technology, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Believe
for some
me.
time now.
Yes, we are... It looks like we're not trying at all.
Yes.
We're not trying here. Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay,
B.
all the best.
Good.
Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, sir.
Speak up a bit for me, no?
Yes. Is this Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Perkins.
How are
the
you?
First time on your program.
Eh?
First time on your program, sir.
Why you treat me so bad?
I will listen to you most time when I'm in
But you must come on and talk to me too. I like to hear your voice.
I listen to you actually every day, sir.
Is that so? But you must talk to me more often too.
I love your program. Sometimes when I call, I can't get to you, sir.
Oh, is that so?
Everybody love you and try to talk to you, know?
I'm sorry about that, but keep it up.
Yes, what I call you about, sir, is the Prime Minister.
The what?
The Prime Minister. It's the first time we have a black lady. And she's going to be the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. And we don't want to hear anybody criticize her.
But she's the Prime Minister right now, eh?
How much about Jamaica is about 95% black. And about how much percent white people you think is here?
I don't know, 2%, whatever.
2%. And now you hear people talking about color. Mrs. Portia Sims Miller is a black woman. And this country, you have to say, is 95% black people. And we are going to vote in Miss Portia Sims in there. Because she's for the poor. She just go in there, not even 2 years since she go in there, and she's looking after the poor.
Well, let me tell you something, you see.
Sir?
Vote as you will. I'm not telling you for whom you should vote. Right?
They're talking about color.
Yes,
how
but
color
hold on.
Eh? Don't Mr. Siaga was there and people vote for him?
Hold on for a moment for me, no? Color is irrelevant. Right? The fact that a man, or for that matter a woman, is of any given color, does not make that person a good lawyer.
That is true, sir. We are voting
or a
for
good
her
doctor.
because what she can do for the poor people in this country. That's why we're going to vote
hold
for
on
her.
for a moment. If you had an illness and you needed medical treatment, would you go looking for the blackest doctor that you could find?
What did you say?
If you were ill, right? You needed medical attention, right? You had a serious illness and you need medical attention. Would you go looking for the blackest doctor that you could find?
No, I'm looking for the best doctor,
For the
whether
best
black
doctor.
or white.
Whether that black doctor is black, white, red,
Yes,
blue,
I'm
or
looking
pink.
for the best person who can look about me.
And therefore,
Miss Portia Simpson
why
is
don't
the
you
best
think-
person who can deal with
Could I ask you,
this country.
why don't you think that the same criteria should apply to a prime minister? Are you looking for the blackest prime minister that you can find? Or the best prime
The
minister?
best one.
The best
and
one?
she's the best one
Okay,
now.
all right, well.
She is the best one.
All right, well, if that is
Right?
your opinion, vote for her.
We don't want no more traitors.
No more what?
Those traitors, we don't want no more traitors.
Traitors.
Yes, we don't want no more. The Labour Party forget all what they deal with. When Mr. Siaga they tell the 5 of them to blight Kangle and come back, them forget. Them a traitor. All the Bruce Golding is a traitor. He was in the Labour Party and him jumping from one place to the other, from ship to ship, go form him own party. And then he come back. Now, where him come back for? Where him can do for we?
Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon
I was listening to the program, and someone had called in. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, someone had called in earlier, and they were asking about how do you evaluate the government and their progress.
Yes.
And you had discussed with them, the basics of how do we, evaluate the progress or the potential, active government. Well, in just a really quick look online, I know there's within the Cabinet Office they are supposed to deal with standards and efficiencies. But I see here in 2000 and 2001 that a group was formed that was supposed to be dedicated to looking at these kinds of things, to do social research and analysis and track progress. And I don't know if that's still in effect. Did that group continue to meet? It was the Jamaican Social Progress Evaluation Group. Do you know anything about them?
No, I don't think I do.
You don't.
Look here.
Unfortunately, it looks like
we're out of time. I'm sorry about that. But could you try and call us back
tomorrow? No, it's okay. They looked like a very interesting group, and I'm just wondering what happened to them. The last thing I see is 2003.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for calling. Okay, that brings us to the end of Perkins Online for today. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow, usual time, usual place. Look forward to your company. So long.